I got hit in the head with a shovel.
You got hit in the head with a shovel? How hard are we talking? Like, just like a little boop, or
because like
Boom! Great weapon, but if you hit it with the concave side, it's not that bad on your skull.
did we do a sound check?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay.
Wait, were you not paying attention?
No.
all right.
I was waiting for you to get out of the shitter. That's what I was waiting for.
I refuse to get out of the shitter, guys. It's mine, and
Getting
I'll
out of the
stay in
shooter. You're right.
Yeah, right. I'm ready to go. I heard the word rolling. I'm looking down this camera.
Oh, okay. Man, this is more professional than we are. All right.
All right.
Should we count it in? Should we give it a... I'll count it in. I'll count it in.
Sure.
All right.
Go for
it.
All right.
It's way more serious.
All
than
right.
it is, I don't know.
All right, we're rolling. Quiet on set. All right, and we're live in 5, 4, 3...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Trash Taste Podcast. I'm your host for this week, for the first time in a while, and with me are the boys, as usual. And we have a guest. Introduce yourself.
Hello, Trash Taste Podcast listeners and video viewers. My name is Lady Beard. I'm thrilled to be here today on the Trash Taste Podcast. This is
Jesus
sensational.
Jesus Christ. Normally we have to like bring the energy to the guest, and I feel like I'm being brought up.
No, Lady Beard brought the energy, damn it. Bloody hell, I came with all the energy you can handle. You won't be able to shut me up. That old lady at Denny's told us we had to be quiet.
We've never had that happen to us.
That's how this started for viewers at home.
Yeah.
We had a pre-production meeting in Denny's, and the old lady came
Very
up
generous
and told
way
us,
of wording
Yeah.
pre-production.
It's just a lunch.
Yeah.
we ate lunch at Denny's before we did this, and the old lady who works at Denny's made a point of coming up to us to tell us that we were...
No, she made a point of coming up to you.
I was going to say, we're regulars there.
Yeah.
We can't go back there
Yeah.
now.
You can't, I've ruined it for you.
They know our schedule. We go there, and there's a guy who just knows the exact time and like the exact day that we come in.
When we come early, he's like, "Oh, you're a bit earlier than usual, aren't you?"
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. You're regulars. That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Are we allowed to? Am I allowed to say the general area of Japan which the studio is in?
No.
Okay.
We're in Japan.
Okay, we're in Japan. In the same general area that we're in now, I actually have a reputation of ruining things for people because
Why?
so one of my best friends lives in this general area too.
Yeah,
And so there was a night when I went to his house and we played this game where... I'm
scared now.
We played this game when we went walking out. It's the middle of summertime. When
Yeah.
we're about 2, 3 in the morning, we went out to do the convenience store and the things you normally do. And we played this game of, there's only certain institutions that are open at that time. Of day,
Right.
So we made this game when we would go into the institution. In Japan, they have the little tray to put your money in when you pay for things.
Yeah.
We made this game out. We go and we, do whatever, buy our stuff at the convenience store. And then we would flip over the tray and see how they reacted. Because a lot of people in Japan, people working the service industry, can't handle that.
Right.
It blew minds, you see. I remember saying to the guy at the convenience store, it was probably a bit nasty because my friend is this huge bodybuilder guy.
Right.
So I'm a pro wrestler. So we're there, and the dude behind the convenience. It's 3 a.m. There's 2 foreigners. There's no other humans for miles around. And he's this tiny little dude, and I'm like, but what would you do, sir, if I did this? And I flipped the tray. I just waited.
Whilst he was looking, like you were maintaining eye contact.
This poor man freaked out. He freaked out. He will never talk to a foreigner ever again. Anyway, but then the game became you would run into an institution, you'd flip the tray and run out, and you'd see what would happen.
So you're basically just ding dong dashing.
Yeah, well, it means now my friend can't go to Tsutaya anymore.
Well, because he's known as that giant dude who flips trays over.
This is like the Arnold Schwarzenegger meme, the one where he's running with his shirt on. Just running into the restaurant just to flip over the table and running out. Okay, but first of all, I think there's going to be a lot of confusion.
We just jumped right into
Yeah,
it.
let's dial it back a bit.
Let's go back a bit. Do you want to introduce yourself to audiences who don't know?
What do you do?
What do you do?
Why are you wearing
Because to someone who doesn't know who Ladybeard is, they're probably just thinking, who is this white guy in a dress?
Who's this random Aussie who just joined the Trash Taste
I'll
podcast?
be honest, I don't know anything. I wanted to come into this blind. I wanted to hear and meet you and just experience everything. So I know absolutely nothing about you.
I'm Connor's biggest fan. As of today, Connor has made me so happy in the short time I've known him. Let me introduce myself. Watch this. I'll do it like we're on TV. This is Channel 7. Right here, you ready?
Okay, go for it.
My name's Ladybeard. I'm a heavy metal singer and pro wrestler from Australia, currently based in Japan. Today, I'm thrilled to be talking to my friends.
This is the quietest you've been. It's very creepy. This is
What,
the
creepy?
This is the quietest you've been in a long time.
That was like Australian like news documentary narration voice.
It was, wasn't it?
So,
But I didn't go up at the end of my sentence the way I potentially should have.
Like every Australian
to
does.
appear in Australian media. We're in Japan, so there's no need to talk about the wonderful nation of Australia from which both Joseph and I hail.
We can get to that though. We can get to that.
so how does this come to be? What is this?
I am a heavy metal singer and a pro wrestler.
Wait,
and
which
a
one were you first?
Cross-dresser. I was first a cross-dresser.
Oh, really?
And then became a cross-dressing pro wrestler.
Right.
And then became a cross-dressing wrestling heavy metal singer.
What is the journey?
I feel like you're saying these steps so casually. And I'm trying to break these down.
That's like
All of
someone
them
being
down.
like, I was a straight man, and then I was a straight man who became an astrophysicist, and then I became a straight man who did astrophysicist and does gardening every now
I
and then.
feel like
Are you not those things?
Yes.
I thought that's what this was.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a story that gets us from point A to point B, but I'm just not seeing it.
So I used
wait,
to live in
yeah.
the city of Hong Kong, and I was an actor and a voice actor and a pro
Whoa,
wrestler.
Whoa!
How did you get to Hong Kong?
No. Now you're adding like 5 more different points to this story.
I gave you an abbreviated version of the story, so as to avoid these pitfalls we're currently
You just
encountering.
created more pitfalls.
Okay, I want to know what made you leave Australia. Let's start there.
Okay, so
Okay.
I went through acting school in Australia to be an actor.
Okay.
That's mainly what acting school's for.
Yes.
Yes.
Mainly.
Makes sense.
But I also am a martial artist.
Okay.
And so what happened was I moved from Adelaide, that's where I'm from, which as Joey will know is a small city,
Yes.
to Melbourne,
Right.
which Joey will know
Is a big city.
a bigger
Bigger city.
This isn't a child's TV. What is this?
and so I was training
Yeah.
in Hong Kong style like cinematic action with this Aussie dude who was on Jackie Chan's stunt team, right?
Oh, wow.
So I was on his stunt team, right? And basically, there was no work for actors in Australia at the time. So I'm there and I'm auditioning and things, and I'm auditioning against like Aussie celebrities and things. So there's no way as a school leaver I'm going to get a bloody job.
Right.
So this stunt dude I was training with, he was like, you should go to Hong Kong because worst case scenario, you'll go there, you'll get a bit of work because it's easier because you're a foreigner, so you got less competition. Then you can come back here and be more employable.
Right.
Like, go to auditions, right? And they'd be like, yeah, you're good, but you need experience. Catch 22, how are you going to get experience? We don't give you experience, right?
True,
so
true.
it's like they tell me somehow you have to get experience. We're not going to help you. All right. So anyway,
Yeah.
I went to Hong Kong playing, just do a couple of movies and then come home. And I ended up staying 6 years.
Say that so casually.
There was much more work to be had in Hong Kong than there was at home.
Right.
You said it like you just stayed around a mate's house.
Wait, so was it,
Yeah, went over for a beer and just
Yeah, I
stayed
did.
for
I
6
went to
years.
Hong Kong, I flipped a train, and I ran out again.
so it was just a case of you just kept getting work in Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, there was much more to do there.
Yeah,
There was
right,
much more to do there. But so this is interesting. So I went in 2006. I had a brief stint when I moved to the Philippines because I got a job offer down there to work at a movie studio.
Right.
But then I was there for about 6 months and I went back to Hong Kong.
Right.
Doing my stuff. But then
And this was mainly doing like martial arts and
martial arts, acting, voice acting, and stunt work, right? So
a little
then,
bit of everything.
yeah. Well, through an acting school, you learn to be an actor and you learn voice acting.
Right,
And then
right.
I was a martial artist, so I learned stunts off the back of that, right?
Right.
So then, okay, go 2006, 6, 7, 8, I'm there. End of 2008, along comes that global financial crisis and wipes out everything I had going on.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, nothing to go back to at home. Now there's nothing here. What am I going to do?
Right.
And I made the logical choice of realizing the way to solve all my problems was to become a cross-dressing pro wrestler and heavy metal singer.
Okay. So how did you come to that realization?
like this is not natural.
yeah, let's-
I think most people gotta pack it in, boys.
Okay.
Go and get a job at Tesco. You know, let's,
Well, okay, let's take it one step at a time, right? Like, so have you always had? I assume you've always had a fascination towards wrestling.
So a martial artist, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and also performer and stuntman. So really,
Yeah.
pro wrestling's a small skip.
Yeah,
and jump.
yeah.
I was always interested in wrestling when I was younger, but just due to where I lived in Adelaide and where the wrestling gyms were, they were miles away, so I never had the chance to actually do it.
Did you watch like WWE and stuff like that?
Yeah, but there wasn't when I was at the age to watch all that. It wasn't on TV very readily in Adelaide. It was on like 1:30 in the morning. on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's like when I was
Only the naughty kids stayed up to watch
when
that.
I was up studying for my, I would catch some WWE sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're of a different generation than I
Yes.
think, without giving up too many things. So
Yeah.
the wrestlers you watched are probably different from the ones I watched.
I mean, to be frank, I didn't really watch a whole
don't
lot of
watch
wrestling.
wrestling?
You to assume I watch wrestling before, right?
I mean, I okay. My wrestling knowledge of like back, when I was like in teenage years,
Yeah.
all of it comes from all the WWE games that my neighbor
Okay.
used to have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like, it'd be like back then when it was, I think it was still SmackDown versus Raw,
Yes.
right? Like that kind of like level.
good.
So,
Okay,
so it's
that's
like,
good.
it's like very big. I wouldn't call myself a wrestling fan.
But that's around the time when I was getting access to this 1:30 in the morning.
Right,
wrestling on TV as well.
right.
But you had to have Foxtel to be able to watch the damn wrestling. I didn't have Foxtel.
Yeah. Foxtel is like,
like cable.
Like cable.
Like Sky.
Okay.
That's what I
like,
that's what I-
Sky. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
basically.
imagined.
Yeah, but then Australia, Sky is that conservative news network. So don't say Sky because it's a very different thing in Australia.
Is it? I don't even know that.
don't even know?
Nah.
Too many people use the same words for their media outlets.
So wait, okay, so then I want to know then if that's the case. Okay, so you're like so you're like into wrestling and you're like, okay, it's just a logical, progress to go into wrestling.
Yeah. So then,
So like how do you I've always wondered because I know a few people who like used to be pro wrestlers or currently do pro wrestling.
Okay.
How do you even start to get into an industry like that?
well, you go to wrestling school. So you go to a wrestling gym and
Yeah.
you'll do a tryout to see whether or not they will train you.
Right.
And if they accept you, then they accept you and they start training you.
Right,
What do they look for? What's like the audition
Well,
process?
you need to have, physically, you need to be able to handle the physical stuff.
Yeah.
And then, from a, I guess, a presentation and performance perspective, you need to
Yeah.
have
Good showman.
some level of aptitude in that.
Have some
you don't
showmanship.
you don't necessarily need to be trained in anything already, but if you're super shy and you can't handle being in front of an audience, it's not
Yeah.
going to work out great.
Right,
Because
right.
wrestling is generally speaking about larger than life characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And men
Yeah.
in dresses.
Yeah. Or man in dresses.
That's right.
So then, how did you go from that to moving to Japan then?
So financial crisis. All the work's gone. But around that time, I started wrestling in Hong Kong because there was a gym that was accessible to me for the first time.
Right.
Started wrestling. Started training a month later. I caught on fairly quickly because the techniques are not that different from stunts.
Right,
Sorry.
Right.
A month later, had my first match. And so we're
Jesus.
getting ready. That's too fast.
Yeah.
Anyone who's training wrestling,
Yeah.
a month is too fast.
I feel a
to
month
go
is too
from-
fast for any training.
to go from your first body slam to doing it in front of people. That's
Right,
very
right.
fast. So
So when you say first wrestling match, is this like a whole coordinated, you do this, I do this kind of thing? Or is it literally just how does that work? 'Cause I have no idea.
so in wrestling, it's okay. So there's like a system, right?
Right.
Once you learn the system, then you can work.
I see.
So if I know what I'm doing, I'm trained to the system and you're trained to the system,
You can
we
both
can
just
never
kinda
have
like
met
read
before,
the
but
room.
we know the
You
system.
figure it
now,
out,
so-
right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
It's all right. It's all right, Connor.
I
I don't mind.
I know because with
No,
with
because
wrestling-
I wanted to know as well.
Because
Yeah.
wrestling with because it's an act, but it's not an act, right? But I don't know
telling
what
me that wrestling is fake,
my
Connor?
So
This is Conor McGregor right here. This is MMA. It's the real thing. Conor McGregor. Oh, top of the morning to you. I thought this was the Joe Rogan experience. With
This
Joe
is not the
and
Joe-
Conor. What's going on? It's a podcast. I was lied to.
what is happening? What is I didn't want to offend you.
right now.
Conor McGregor. Conor.
I'm losing my mind already.
I am
This is a little
Conor's.
thin.
I'm Conor's largest fan. If your last name's not McGregor, what should I call you by your last name?
Ladybeard is literally in
Can't
every.
pronounce my last name.
Ladybeard is in like, and I say this in the nicest way possible, is one of the hardest people to work with. Oh shit! Oh no! Well, like I just said, like I literally just said, this man is like fucking destroying our
he's
set.
destroying the set within
Jesus Christ.
15 minutes of recording.
My legs! Yeah, can't walk correctly.
All right, let's cut. So
Sorry.
what were we talking about before that calamity?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. We're talking about wrestling.
How it works, and then of course you were saying about you had 1 month of training before your first.
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah. So then we're there and we're discussing before this match. Okay, so what do you want your character to be? Your gimmick, as it's referred to in pro wrestling. And I have a long history in cross dressing.
Yeah. So can we talk about that?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, we
can talk about it.
completely missed that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
Yeah. So how did that come to be?
So when I was 14, a friend of mine had a school uniform birthday party. And I thought...
Wait, what's a school uniform birthday party?
Have you never been to a party in your life?
No, but like, what do you mean
That
by
was
like
nasty.
school
I didn't
uniform?
mean to- That was
What's so
nasty. I didn't
special
mean to-
about a-
Cut that. Cut the lady being aggression. I didn't mean to be aggression to Joey. I'm sorry, Joey.
No, it's fine.
I secretly love you. And I'm-
It's okay. I just genuinely wanted to know what a school uniform
what is a
birthday
school-
party.
yeah, I don't know
What
what
is
that
that?
School uniform birthday party is a birthday party to which
When you're in a school uniform. Yeah.
school uniform.
Isn't that just like a normal party?
Isn't that just
Yeah.
like an after school party?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't go after school. It's like on the weekend or whatever.
Sometimes.
and you
Well,
wear
Okay,
school
okay,
uniform.
what I want to know is why you want to choose to wear a school uniform to go to a party.
Because it was my friend's birthday and she can do whatever she wants. It's her party. She can cry if she wants to. You would cry too if it happened to you.
Okay. So you went to a school uniform birthday
I
party.
went to school uniform birthday party, and
Yeah.
so all my mates went wearing what we wore to school. So wearing the trousers and the blazer and the shirt and everything.
Yep.
And I was like, it'd be really funny if I wore my big sister's school dress.
Right.
So
Okay.
I did, and it was a hit amongst the 14-year-olds.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious, right?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And so then what happened is I started then wearing that particular school dress to various other non-school uniform parties,
Right.
and rock and roll shows and things. And what happens is, I noticed that this is back in the 90s, so it's a different time from now. As a man in a dress, young man in a dress, I would walk into the room and the energy of the room would lift straight away.
Right.
So, you know how at the start of every party, there's like that 2 hours of faffing around when everyone's not really loose and everyone's kind of uptight.
Yeah.
That would just disappear. Dude in a
true,
dress
true.
walk in, everyone goes, oh, dude in a dress! And the party's on straight away, right?
Right.
Woo! It's, 6 p.m. Woo!
So you were like the party
I
starter
was
at
the
like
party
every
starter.
party.
Yeah, it was great.
I can
So-
see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's
then-
kind of what I do on my YouTube channel.
Exactly, yeah, right?
It's fun. I don't know. It's freeing. You feel like when you're the clown, you can do anything. You know what I mean?
What? You do what? You're
When
a cross-dresser on your YouTube channel?
I've done a lot of cross dressing on my YouTube channel.
I
I guess.
see.
And
Oh,
it's-
good.
It's quite fun. I mean, I feel like when you know you're the butt of the joke, it's so I don't know. It's so like freeing. It's so control, like because you feel like you're the one in control.
Yeah,
almost.
that's not how I felt it. For me, it was not butt of the joke, but I appreciate what you're saying, though.
yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying. But definitely when you're the object of attention.
Yeah.
And what I found, see, it's become a different conversation recently because the whole transgender movement is happening.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's a different conversation from what it was when I started.
Right.
But for me, it was a case of I was more successful at life when wearing a dress than when wearing pants.
Right.
Which is an interesting thing, really, because a lot of transgender people would have the opposite experience. Or they would
Right.
they
Yeah.
say they
Right,
wanted to express themselves by wearing dresses
Well,
or whatever,
I-
and then they felt they couldn't. But for me, I was dressed like a dude, and it was like, "Duh!" And then I put on a dress, and everyone was like, woo! So
I think there's a lot of insecurity out there with guys where they're
Yeah.
like, if you say it's a joke, it's hilarious. But if you're like, no, I like this, they're like, oh, I don't know how to feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, there is some of that, which is
I
a bit
mean,
unfortunate.
just talking to you now, you definitely bring the energy wherever
thank
you
you.
go. So I
I
think
think-
I feel
thank
that plays
you,
a part
Garth.
into it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Garth.
It's all good,
I
man.
don't think the dress
stay
is
like this for the
needed
rest of the
energy.
Yeah. I feel it's like the energy was there before the skirt came on, you know?
But sort of on what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I turn up in this and I'm all energetic and everybody goes, well, that makes sense.
Right.
But why not just turn up in pants and old lady in Denny's tells me to shut up? You know what I'm saying? Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean,
I am curious.
I think the outfit wouldn't have mattered. I think she was going to tell you to shut the fuck up.
I am curious. In the country of noise complaints, how many noise complaints have you gotten?
Oh,
here?
dear me. It's a non-stop stream of noise complaints. Walking down the street, Udasai, she's a kakurasai. Just constantly.
how do you not like, I don't know. Because I guess, you had that like voice acting experience, right? So I guess like the whole like, using your voice and being loud and all of that is just like kind of ingrained into you
I
almost.
don't know. I just saved that shit. What do you mean?
Oh, really?
That's optional.
Yeah, but I think it's more just a personality
Personality
trait.
trait.
Right.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm a younger sibling, so I had to do something to get some damn attention.
Look at me.
Frankly. So where am I in this story? Yeah. So I was a casual cross-dresser, and then when I moved to Hong Kong, I started cross-dressing in the same capacity. So just going out to rock and roll shows and things in a dress.
Right.
Because Hong Kong's such a conservative society.
Yep.
If I lifted the energy in Australia, in Hong Kong, I really lifted the energy.
Yeah.
I would walk in, it was just, people just lost their minds. You're like, you're the funniest person I've ever seen in my life. They went bonkers for it. So I'm like, damn. So there we are, and we're figuring out characters for the first wrestling match. Every
Just
other
felt right,
wrestler,
yeah.
every other wrestler in Hong Kong, their gimmick was, I am a wrestler.
Right.
So I'm like,
Nothing interesting at all.
yeah, exactly. Just, he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Is that all? Yes. Okay. So I'm like,
So what are you good at?
gonna-
I wrestle.
What is your name? Wrestler.
The wrestler.
So I'm like, I'm gonna wear a dress and I'm gonna be called Ladybeard.
Right.
And so all the other wrestlers were like, okay, and they were
Yeah.
weird about it, right?
Right.
First match, I go in there overnight, most popular wrestler in Hong Kong,
Damn.
because I was the only one who had a character.
Right.
Because
Right.
everyone else was a wrestler, the same as the other 20 wrestlers they'd just seen come out before him. Right?
So what I wanted to know, how is I assume this is like the amateur wrestling scene. How do they introduce new wrestlers? What's the process for that?
Well, okay, so like I say, you go through, you do a tryout, and if they
Right.
agree to train you, you start training.
Okay.
And then when you're kind of released publicly, as in when you're debuted,
Yeah.
they'll find a way to debut you. So normally you do it with something public, like a wrestling show,
Right.
or like a video segment or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'll just, like, whoever you are in the ring and however you're going to fit into the company and the stories and so forth, they'll just find a way that works to introduce a character. So let's say, for instance, right now, let's say we've been training Gant and for the past year, and Gant's now a skilled young pro wrestler.
As you can
And-
see by my physique right here.
You can see Gant's been smacking at the gym on a daily basis. So okay, so what's just make a gimmick for you real quick. You are you're the Thai elephant god. So okay, here's the Thai elephant god, and we've decided, and currently Joey, who is the slightly colourful haired luchador, he's in a feud with Connor, the Welsh Despair. So
Okay.
you two are feuding.
Just being Welsh.
You two are feuding.
Why does the Welsh despair sound so cool?
I was trying to think of a word that started with W, but I couldn't think of it in 2
I'm
seconds.
the multicolored luchador. Like, what the fuck?
What gimmick would you like to be?
Anything else would be fine.
Really?
Other than, what's your gimmick? I have interesting colored hair. Cool,
So
thanks.
Was that the standard of Hong Kong?
Yeah.
That didn't even have interesting colour hair. Sorry, that sounded rude.
Okay,
I
so-
apologize
so-
to my
okay,
brothers
so-
in Hong Kong.
okay,
I
so-
apologize to my wrestling
yeah.
brothers in Hong Kong. Anyway, okay, so let's say you guys are feuding.
Right.
We'll find some kind of angle in which during your story, for some reason, the Thai elephant god is paying huge homage to the multicolored luchador.
Yeah.
Right.
And to that end, when you guys are in a match, Joey will hit his finisher and he'll like cover Connor, and it'll be 1, 2, and then the lights will go off and they'll come on, and riding down the ramp on an elephant is the Thai elephant god.
Right,
To let
right.
everybody know that the match is not going to end like this.
Right.
Or just any damn way you want to do it. This is one of the beautiful things about wrestling. There's a lot of potential for creativity and so
Yeah.
forth.
So did you get to like say, for instance, like the entry, right? Like I think from what I've heard, like each wrestler, do they get to choose what song they enter with?
Yep. It depends on your company, really. It's
Right. But like basically the wrestler, like every other time, like they get to choose how they want to enter.
I,
Right? Or, like,
I personally got to, but
Right.
of course you're limited by what you're capable of doing.
Also,
Yeah.
copyright, I imagine.
True.
That can be a problem if it's it can be a problem, but it's kind of like if you're small time, you're often too small time.
Right, yeah,
if
right,
you're big time, they've got the rights cleared. So
So what's like, say, like for you, for example, like what's like your pinnacle of entries that you remember? Because I've seen some, because recently Aki has been getting into WWE.
Oh, okay.
Which is like slightly worrying as well, because I'm like, is she gonna be a WWE girlfriend? I don't know about that. But she was watching. We were watching like I think it was like the top 10 like WWE like most memorable WWE entries, and the one that fucking killed me was one that John Cena did, where they literally somehow got 100 John Cena lookalikes to come out in this like just this fucking row of people, and they would part ways and create this like aisle.
That's the most extra thing.
They part ways and create this aisle, and then the moment the fireworks went off, they all turned to each other and started doing this.
That's fantastic.
And then the real John Cena comes out and he just runs through them all, just doing this.
Fantastic. That's
So,
fantastic.
did you ever get to do something like that? Or?
Let me tell you something, Joey. The budget that's been dedicated to Lady Beard is not the same as what has been dedicated to John Cena. My
Okay,
friend.
well then, what would you say is like, yeah, this is like the peak of my entry
Of like a ring entrance?
of like a ring entrance?
I don't know. I don't think I've done anything particularly special as a ring entrance.
You don't really like
Off the top of my head, no, I don't think I've really
nothing?
done any.
You just
particularly-
kind of show up.
Hey guys.
It's like, hey, I'm here. Hey, Lady Beard.
get announced. You know,
Yeah.
come out, get a big light on you.
Yeah.
Go around high-fiving the audience,
Yeah.
go into ring. But you got to remember, when I come out, I've got pigtails in and a pink and white bikini. So just that is somewhat a statement, my friend.
True.
I don't need to do this, Joey. Everyone's looking already.
I want them to see me. All right, so you did
Only terrible.
only
jokes.
terrible WWE jokes. So we established the cross-dressing thing.
Yeah.
We've established the pro wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Metal singing. How did that come to be?
So when I moved to Hong Kong, I started learning Cantonese because that's the language I speak there. And so one of the strategies I had for learning languages was I would get music in that language, which I'm sure you guys have probably gone through here with Japanese.
Yeah.
You get Japanese, not Connor from the look on his face, but you get music that you like in the language.
Yeah. Yep.
So I started listening to Cantonese pop songs.
Right.
Most of the music is pop. There's very little anything else in Hong Kong.
Right.
So I'm listening to these pop songs. And my favorite one was a metalhead from way back. Actually, my favorite songs, full stop, were always like metal covers of pop songs.
Right.
So like, you know, metal covers of like Last Friday Night and
Yeah, yeah,
Poker
yeah.
Face and things
Yeah.
like this. Because they're hilarious, right? Because
Yeah.
you're so used to hearing Lady Gaga with, you know, carry my poker face.
Yeah.
And then you hear, carry my poker face. To me, it's so funny, right? I think it's fantastic. Because it takes what you're used to and it subverts it.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the thing of beauty. So when I started listening to these Cantonese pop songs, I was like, these are really catchy songs. Who's done the metal covers? Turns out no one had.
Right.
And I was like, well,
now
someone
we
should
should
do that.
Free
Fast
real
forward
estate, isn't
3
it?
years later, it was after the financial crisis. Everything had been wiped out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do? I was going through one of those exercises where you figure out your career and what you're going to do. And it's like, what are you passionate about? And I'm like, well, heavy metal and destroying things. So I'm like, okay, I want to be a metal singer. And I was like, okay, specifically, I want to sing metal covers of Cantonese pop songs because I think they'll sound awesome. No
Yeah.
one else has done it. I'm going to goddamn do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did, and then what I said was, okay, so I've already got this fan base organized with the wrestling. I'm going to do this metal project as Ladybeard, and I'm going to bring that fan base over. And then I'm going to try and do this amazing, interesting thing of working the pro wrestling world and the heavy metal world together so that the storylines are interlocked and they flow back and forward between them.
It sounds like you were like 15 years too early to TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like those heavy metal covers would blow up on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, hearing you talk about the financial crisis is like this devastating thing is so bizarre because I was just so young. I was probably shitting myself and watching Finding Nemo. So, like, the thought of it having an impact is
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
what's
it was
going on?
2008, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was 14.
Yeah, I was,
when that
I was
happened.
probably like,
I was in university, so
I was
How
probably
are
like
you,
12
Connor?
or something. I'm 24.
Oh my god! Holy smookaroonie!
Yeah, I mean, like, you know,
I think I was 11 then.
yeah, because I had heard, like, from my parents.
I know, my parents were like
being
that.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like, damn, the world got fucked
yeah,
over
this
that.
is a
year.
big thing that's going to happen, and I'm just trying to get through my degree right now.
I'm
like,
still probably eating Cocoa Pops and picking my nose. and shit, so I don't really,
But we got to realize the same kind of thing has happened now with COVID-19, and all four of us are very lucky that we can still sit here employed.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of
Exactly.
people
Very
are
lucky.
now in that position that I was in then, and they're going,
exactly.
"Oh God, what am I going to do?"
Yeah.
So the next generation of Ladybeard is going to come out of COVID.
A couple of years from now, there'll be like a little 2.0 of Lady
Lady
Beard.
Beard with a pink mask.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
so yeah, that's how it came to be, I guess. Yeah.
So,
Fucking hell.
when
So-
did you move to Japan then?
So then, so I started doing my metal covers of Cantonese pop songs, and I started doing that in Hong Kong. Very good. Did a couple of tours to some nearby places, and I said one of the things that kind of gave me the confidence to do it in the first place, because it's sort of when you go full time as the crossdresser, you can't ever really go back, can you? It's kind of, it works or you're screwed.
Right.
So one of the things that kind of gave me the confidence to do it was, well, if I can't really get anything going on in Hong Kong, I know I can always move to Japan because I'm sure they'll love something like this.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah.
So I did a tour to Japan after I got myself organized in Hong Kong. Did Japanese songs. So I couldn't speak Japanese yet, just learnt the songs phonetically.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Put together a show.
Yeah.
Came over here with, the handful of contacts I had, like 3 Japanese people I knew.
Right.
So I put together a show, but it popped because I was doing like metal covers of like, what's that girl who sings First Love? Hikaru Shida? What's that? No, that's a wrestler.
Utada Hikaru?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Doing like metal covers of that and so forth. So the audience, much they didn't know who I was,
Right.
the audience who was at any of these shows would see this show. They all knew the songs because they're famous songs.
Yeah.
And there'd be the metal cover, of course. They're like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
So that tour went incredibly well.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, clearly I found the chosen land. So then, clearly, the promised land, as written in the ancient texts, the ancient promised land.
The promised land of milk and honey.
Right. So I went back to Hong Kong and I'm like, all right, clearly the mission now needs to be moved to Japan and do the career in Japan. And I did, and here we are.
Wow.
Man, do you know what it feels like? You know when you put your headphones in your pocket and it gets all tangled and you have to like untangle it? That's literally what we did with your story right now. It all finally fits together. It all makes sense now.
It's all finally one straight line that I can understand. Yeah.
So I came over at the end of 2013,
Right.
and then at the start of 2014, my images went viral on the Twitter. And then in 2015, I was put in this pop group with these 2 young singers. And we did a song called Nippon Manju, and that blew up on the YouTubes. And now we're riding high.
So, okay, then, because I would say, for people who don't know Lady Beard, for instance, I'd say, I would say, though, if there's one thing about you that you've done in your career that's probably, I would say is probably the most well-known, would probably be Lady Baby.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right? So how did that come to be?
So I was, it was me and my former manager. We're in Japan. We're only doing our stuff in Japan and so forth. And so I was on the cover of Metropolis magazine. Do you know that magazine?
I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah, it's a free magazine. How can you guys be foreigners in Japan, not know Metropolis? It's like,
Leave my house. You know what year it's been?
okay, fair enough. There's a free English magazine, like a street magazine in Tokyo, I think in all Japan, called Metropolis.
Is there?
didn't know
I've
this?
never seen it.
I've never seen it.
I'm definitely afraid of eye contact with strangers holding things. I'm like, don't, no.
I thought you Welshmen loved a good fight.
Give me the Metropolis magazine! I need my reads!
If I loved a good fight, I think I'd be deported very quickly.
So there's this magazine.
There's
Yeah,
a
that's
wow,
magazine.
it's a very popular magazine amongst every foreigner in Japan
did not
except
know this.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Mainly, did you know about this?
Yeah, right?
Ashley, did you know about this?
Ages.
Yes, right? There are 5 foreigners here who didn't know about it.
My friends who work at Metropolis magazine, I sincerely apologize for this negative press
I think
that you are currently receiving on the Trash
I'm just
Taste
saying,
podcast.
clearly the marketing strategy needs to be rethought. I'm just,
Dude, that magazine is everywhere.
Oh, it's clearly
Wait,
not everywhere.
Well, where do you get it? Like convenience
Just
store?
if you-
Or?
No, not the convenience store, but if you go to Tower Records or whatnot, they got that stack of free magazines.
I don't think I've been into a Tower Records in about a year.
Wait, you look at the free stack of magazines? I just see potential toilet
When
roll.
you get to the airport and you're walking from your plane to
Right.
immigration, there's
Yeah.
always magazines and stuff.
I'm
on
just
rack.
checking.
I
Right,
have,
fine.
yeah, you're just checking your phone, right? I guess.
Young people! Bloody generation gap!
Millennials.
Bloody.
Okay, so you're on
Anyway,
the cover of
I'm
Millennium.
on the cover of Metropolis magazine. The CEO of a Halloween costume company is getting off a plane. He's walking through the airport and he sees Metropolis magazine with me on it. It's me in my pink and white bikini flexing.
Right.
And he said, "What the hell is that?"
He stops in the airport. Everybody.
He's actually Chinese, so he probably said, that's probably what he actually said.
I just love to imagine just this super proper CEO, just minding his own business, Bluetooth headphone in his ear, and he's just like, "The fuck is that?"
So he takes magazine and he takes it back to his office and he's like, "Look at this!" And his staff are like, "Yeah, that's this ladybeard guy, this foreigner dude."
Right.
And he said, "Bring him in. I want to work with him. Bring him in."
Wow.
So we get a contact from this company and we go in And he's like, I want to work with you. I'm like, all right. I thought he's a Halloween costume company, right?
Right,
so
right,
I thought he's going to make like a line of my bikinis to
Right,
sell
right,
on
right.
Halloween.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to work with you, but I don't know how. So we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Like, okay.
So he put you in his office and say that?
Yeah, we go back to what we were doing, and a month later he calls us in again,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'm going to put you in a pop group with a pair of idols."
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wait, how did that happen?
That's another jump.
Yeah.
How did he come up with that
Well,
idea?
I wasn't there for that.
Okay,
You know, because
okay.
he did that in the privacy of his own space.
Your life just sounds like a roulette wheel. At this point. What is going on? Why is the structure?
Well, that's what you get for waking up in Vegas.
Yeah, it's just like here's a bunch of money. It's like, oh, I don't even remember betting on black. It's like, anyway, so this guy somehow manages to get you in this idol group.
Yeah, so he spoke to some people he knew, and I'm going to put you in a group. And then we did that first song, and it blew up.
And that was Lady Baby. Wow. So he somehow knew Baby Metal? Wait, was Baby Metal were they even established back then?
Yeah, they were very popular at the time. It was
Right,
recently after Gimme Choco had gone viral,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So they were very hot, and they were getting spoken about a lot in Japan. But it's like, I remember the meeting. He goes, yeah, because he's a heavy metal singer, and they're idols. Yeah. So your Baby Metal are very popular at the moment, aren't they? Yeah. So this will be just like Baby Metal, but with Ladybeard. Baby Metal. Lady Baby. That was the meeting. I'm like, right?
Like, cool. I guess.
This was,
That's
the
how
CEO,
that happened.
this was the CEO of a Halloween costume, and they just
company.
decided to get into.
This is how you become a CEO, Grant, with fast thinking like that. That's the kind of fast thinking we need as far as CEO.
That's a decision-making skills right there.
He's a smart man. He's from China. He came over to Japan with no money, like 30 years ago or something, and he made his living. Like, he'd go outside Tokyo Dome. This is during the bubble. Outside Tokyo Dome, he would like sell like light sticks or something when there were sporting events, and he somehow made his business happen.
That is literally how like every entrepreneur in the 70s started. Like that, isn't that like every entrepreneur story from the 70s?
Yeah.
It's like, I had no money when coming to this
Started
country.
on the streets,
I
now we're
sold
here.
I sold paper clips, and now I own a multi-million-dollar corporation.
He did a good job.
Now
He
it's
did a
just,
good job.
Man, my dad was rich. He did.
Gave me a small loan of $1 million.
This episode is sponsored by Harry's.
You know what you shouldn't have to choose between, gentlemen?
What?
A great shave and a fair price.
I'm always trying to choose between the two, and frankly, I'm quite sick of it.
That's where you're wrong, Joey, because with Harry's, you won't have to.
Oh my god!
And as you guys know, last time when we promoted Harry's, they gave us the box to promote, and I actually took it home and used it. And gentlemen,
Was it good?
It's fucking good.
Really?
It's good.
I mean, you are the hairiest member of Trash
I know.
Taste.
I'm always shaving here, and it was so clean. Much better than the ones that I get from the store. I know that sounds like an ad, like I'm being told to say that, but no,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
legit. That's 100%.
Okay.
It's good.
Alright.
It's good.
Harry's delivers a close, comfortable shave at a fair price, still as low as $2 per refill. That's actually really fucking good.
And for a limited time, Harry's is offering their starter set plus a free travel size body wash at harrys.com/trashtaste.
As you guys know from our previous Harry's sponsorship, they have their own German factory that makes blades to a precision. They've been doing it for over 100 years to give you that clean shave.
That's why you fucking love it, right?
That's why I love it. And there's no gimmicks or unnecessary features. It's just a damn good razor. Combined with a weighted handle, an ergonomic texture grip, and flex hinge. I don't even know what most of these words mean, but all I know is that it was a damn good
It
shave.
sounds clean as fuck. Plus, there is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Harry stands behind the quality of their blades so much that they have a 100% money-back guarantee on harrys.com.
And the prices are pretty damn fair.
It
As like
is
Grant
really
said,
I mean,
$2
we've already
a refill.
talked about the price. That's pretty damn good in my opinion. So, what are you waiting for? For a limited time, Harry's has made their exclusive offer even better for listeners of this show. New customers can get the special offer and the Harry's starter set and body wash at harrys.com/trashtaste.
And if you go there, you'll get a 5-blade razor, weighted Truman handle, foaming shave gel, a travel blade cover, and a travel size body wash. And it's pretty damn good, by the way. There's never been a better time to go to Harry's. So go to harrys.com/trashtaste to redeem your offer today.
Thank you to Harry's for sponsoring the episode. Back to the show.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to bring us back in from the commercial break. I'm going to do it as if we're in South Africa. I'm going to do it in an Afrikaans accent.
Why South Africa?
You're in South Africa.
I'll tell you why in a second. Let me just bring us back in from this commercial
Okay.
break. You ready? Okay. I'm going to do it like it's my show.
South Africans,
right.
rate his accent.
All right, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Welcome back to the Trash Taste Podcast on the Voice of Africa Radio Network. I'm your host, Ladybeard, here today with more guests, Connor, Gaunt, and Zoe. Gentlemen, how are you?
That's actually really good.
Thanks, man. I've got a thing for South Africa at the moment.
You sound like my math teacher back in high school.
Was he South African?
He was very South African.
Okay, go on. Excellent.
It'd be awkward if you were like, no, he's not. South.
If any Afrikaner were offended by my accent, I was not trying to appropriate your culture. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I have. So my shower curtain.
What is going on? What is actually going on?
Stop interrupting! Tiny Elephant God! I'll tell you what's going on!
You know what this is like? This is the conversation equivalent of like changing tabs.
We have been like completely drunk for episodes that were easier to follow than this. What is going on?
Ladybeard's
Okay.
shower curtain
Okay, talk about your shower curtain.
is a very badly produced map of the world.
Okay.
So when I was buying shower curtains from whichever shower curtain dispensary I was buying from,
Right.
probably wasn't Amazon because I'm too old. So I bought the cheapest one, and it was
Okay.
this very poorly produced map of the world.
Okay.
Right? And it's like the borders are in the wrong places, the colors of the countries bleed over the borders, things are spelt wrong, and one of the things it does is on a country, it does not highlight the biggest city or
Right.
the capital city. It highlights some other city.
Just
and then
some random
the other
city.
cities are left out.
Right.
So, for instance, in Australia, I think in Australia they managed to get Canberra. So that was right.
Well,
In
at least they got the
Japan-
capital.
Yeah. In Japan, it's Sendai. And no other city.
Right.
And then, so then, all right. So
How does that lead to your Afrikaans accent? this connection I want to see.
When I'm sitting on the toilet, and I won't go into detail about what's going on at the time.
Well, we can imagine.
You can imagine.
Yes.
My eye line is such that I look directly at that bottom part of Africa on this map. So it's like South Africa, Namibia, Botswana.
Right.
And on the South Africa, because it's a dodgy map, there's no Cape Town, there's no Johannesburg,
Right.
but there is Bloemfontein.
Okay. Which is just some random town.
Bloemfontein. Firstly, it's fun to say. Say it with me, you try.
What is it?
Bloemfontein.
Bloemfontein?
That was excellent. Can you say that in a Welsh accent?
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like something the Swedish chef would say on the Muppets.
And this is a real place.
It's a real place. It's
Four
the capital.
fucking privileged people laughing
the
at African town names.
It's
Look
the
at these.
capital of a part of South Africa called Free State.
Okay.
Bloemfontein
Is the capital of
the
that.
biggest city / capital of Free State. And that's the
Everyone
city.
who's watching this from Bloemfontein is like, what's so funny?
And Bloemfontein is what I look at when I'm sitting on the
Taking
toilet.
a shit.
Okay.
And so for that reason, I did some research on Bloemfontein.
Okay.
And now my boom is South Africa. So
So that's why you did the Afrikaans accent.
that's why I did the Afrikaans accent. And you can call me, I don't know an Afrikaner surname. What's a common Afrikaner surname?
You're asking as if I know.
Durtenfort. You can call me Ladybird Durtenfort from here on in. Joey, take it away.
I don't think I can take it away.
Wait, we were on the
let's-
Lady Baby, right?
Yeah.
I was about to bring us back.
You guys from now on can never give a shit for the amount of tangents we go on, because that was easily the biggest tangent we've ever been on.
I was about to say, we're quite famous for going on tangents. And I swear, there's like tangents within tangents within tangents. Like when you tell a single
Yeah.
story.
No
That was like moving on to a different shape.
No tangent has ever been started as beautifully as my shower curtain. The greatest start to a tangent.
Okay,
That's probably
okay.
the greatest start to tangent.
Okay,
Alright,
so Lady
okay,
Babe.
so a Halloween costume CEO put me in a pop group.
Okay,
called Lady
and you were in
Baby.
Lady Baby. And how long did that go for?
Hit song.
Well, I was in Lady Baby. So our first ever song, Nippon Manju, blew up on the internets, and it got very, very popular. And so now we were the hottest group
And
of
so
2015.
when this was formed, you didn't have any say in who the two idols were. Literally, just we're putting with two people, be friends.
I was
with them.
told you're doing this group. Yeah, that's right. So that happened. I was in Lady Baby for like a year and a half or something. So I did like 4 singles with them, and then some other kind of B-side type songs as well. Due to a series of events I won't go into, I was unceremoniously relieved of my position in Lady Baby.
Right.
Yeah. And now they don't exist anymore.
Was it because you were at the Denny's being a little too...
Bit too noisy.
Bit too noisy. Did you get a noise
Every
complaint?
time I was at Denny's, every time. You know what? Yeah, it turns out when you choose a heavy metal singer, you want him to be as quiet as a mouse. Anyway.
So then you did the Lady Baby stuff, and then you kind of did a whole other bunch of...
Did a bunch of other
groups.
stuff. My time in that group ended. They went on without me, but now they're done anyway. That whole thing has come to an end. I went and I did some other stuff, but now
You have a new group.
finally got a new group.
Right.
So everyone loved Lady Baby when I was there, right? So me and the two cute little Japanese girls, everyone loved it. I'm like, let's do that again. And for a series of reasons, we couldn't for 5 years.
Right.
Basically, sum it up, Japanese showbiz politics.
Right.
Basically. We did some other stuff. Have been happy with the other stuff I've done. But now we're in a position where we can do it again. So I'm like, sweet as, let's do it again. So basically what we've done is we've constructed as many of the parts that came together to make Nippon Manju as we could. We've reconstructed those.
Right.
And we're doing the same thing again. And I'm very excited because for 5 years I've been every day been told, why'd you leave Lady Baby? I wanted you to keep doing it. I liked it. Every day for 5 years.
Yeah.
So finally I can do this formation again because clearly it's what I want to do. It's what the whole world wants to see. So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Lady Beard 2021 coming at you with brand new group. I'm allowed to release brand new group's name, correct?
What was the name?
Baby Beard. Oh! Oh! 2021, ladies and gentlemen, Baby Beard coming at you!
Baby Beard.
Baby Beard!
That makes more sense than Lady Baby.
It does.
Yeah, like as a name, right?
I thought that.
Right.
I thought that at that naming meeting. I was
Right.
like, one Baby Beard.
Why not Baby Beard? Yeah.
If you're going to take that approach.
Yeah.
No.
Lady Baby. Lady Baby.
Okay, let's ignore the one person in the room who speaks English. His idea of a good English name. So, Baby Beard is unlike Donkey Kong. I'm so excited.
Have you done stuff with them yet?
Oh, Joey.
But I don't know if I said a good thing or a bad thing.
Incidentally,
No! We've done nothing, Joey.
I'll have you know, we haven't done shit.
incidentally, it's funny you ask that.
Yes.
Because this whole thing was ready to get up and get running at the beginning of 2020. And
Oh, we all know what happened to that.
we all know what happened to that.
Yeah.
So now we're in this unique position where we have a new group to release, and we're not really capable of doing all the things you normally do to release a group.
Right,
such
you're
as
kind of stuck in
doing
limbo.
shows.
Right, yeah.
And
So, what you need to do is you need to head down to the Baby Beard TikTok. There you're going to see all the latest from Baby Beard coming at you, full of updates and all the things we're going to be doing as soon as we're allowed to do normal things like be on a stage.
I love how, like, this is the first guest that we've had that's just like, fuck the end of the show. I'm promoting my shit now.
Hell yeah, I am. I.
You're a true showman.
Hey. Go to social media. Look at Baby Beard.
Do the thing.
The Twitty Tocky, the Twitty Twatty, I should say that word, the Twitty Toppy, the Facey Bookie, the Instant Ham. Do we have another one that I'm forgetting about?
Like, we'll put all the links in the description.
All
Yeah,
the
so you
links
can check it out.
in the description.
MySpace.
Smash the like button. That's what the young people say nowadays.
Yeah, but they don't say it in the middle of the episode. They say that at the end.
You guys all think we're ending.
this podcast is just starting, guys.
Where am I?
We're still going. We're still going.
I'll bring us back from that interview.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
To the Facebook podcast. as part of the Voice of Africa.
We can't do welcome back every cut. We're going to be welcome
Every
back.
5 minutes, we're welcoming them back.
Every toilet break, welcome back.
Anyway, I have a new group called Baby Beard. Me, 2 adorable Japanese girls. It's going to be fantastic. If you loved Nippon Manju, you will love this. Go watch it, please. Oh!
I'm just
Our
glad
table is the victim today. You're fucking beating the shit out of us.
That's what happens when you bring a pro wrestler in. Joey's going to get body slammed through this in a second.
Right.
It's a great table, actually.
I'm just glad you're sticking with something
So-
familiar for once, not going to like fucking astrophysics or something.
Yeah,
man.
right.
Would you like me to? I don't know much
No,
about
no,
it.
no. God,
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So I'm curious. When you made your previous group, you said that you didn't even have a say in it. Did you get much say when you were making this one, like who you wanted to bring onto it, or was it literally just find me 2 cute Japanese girls?
We held auditions.
Oh, okay.
We held auditions.
And you got to choose. And
Yep. So I was on the audition panel. Tell you what, auditioning is a totally different thing, as in being on the choosing side of the audition. Because for my whole life, I've been on the doing the audition side.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So the first time I've been on the watching the audition side, it's a different game.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
But instantly, it's very interesting because it kind of takes away any. It means that all the times you've been rejected in auditions, it no longer feels personal. Once
No,
you're
yeah,
on the audition panel, because you can see girls came in and they were wonderful, like they were really good. I was like, I think you're fantastic, but you're just not what we need right now for this. Right. A couple of them really good, but just like a bit too tall. Things like this. Right. So, but it's kind of upsetting because you're like, I want to give you a job, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Right.
So what were you looking for? What was the criteria?
Well, you had to
Not
make
too
sure-
tall.
That
That's
was the
it.
main criteria. Not too tall. Nah, that's it.
Really?
was
No,
it?
no, not at all.
I was going to say there's plenty of grandmas here. That's perfect.
You can-
So were you like looking for like a certain like vocal style? Because I assume
Yeah,
it's
but
like
they had
vocalists,
to be
right?
able to sing. They had to be able to dance. They had to be small enough. They had to be cute enough. They had to be willing
Just a
to.
normal idol. Like,
They had
Yeah.
to be, yeah, but they had to be willing to go all over the world because when there's no frickin' bloody death flu apocalypse, we're planning to be going all over
how
the
do you make
world.
it sound worse than it is?
Death flu apocalypse.
The Death Flu Apocalypse.
What if I add, what
That's
if
a
I add
great
this sound effect?
That's Death Flu Apocalypse is like an amazing metal band name.
Death flu apocalypse.
Hey guys, we're Death Flu Apocalypse. That's what you should call Baby Beard.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, Death
Maybe
Flu
That's
Apocalypse.
our second single, Death Flu Apocalypse. That's actually a really good idea. Shiori, make a note, please. Death Flu Apocalypse. I can't remember what we were saying.
The criteria
Yes,
for girls.
auditions. So, but then like it's so you had to be willing to go overseas, and they were the main criteria, and then it's also standing with me and the other two. Does that the piece
Balance
of that
it
puzzle
out,
fit
right.
together? A lot of it's like you're really good, we really like you, but you don't fit together with me and any of the other girls. You know, so the hard thing, I had to get 2 of them.
Right.
One is relatively easy. 2 is hard.
Right.
See?
Right.
So you need 2 people who can match this up. Anyway, we did. We ended up with 2 fantastic girls. One called Kotomi and one called Suzu. And foreigners always think Suzu's name is either Susan or Suza.
Susan.
It's neither of those two. Think Suzuki without the key. It's a Suzu.
No, you should just commit to the Susan bit.
Susan.
That should be like her nickname.
Really?
Yeah.
She's not a librarian.
What is that? Is every Susan a librarian?
Maybe they are. You
I don't know a single Susan, so I
know a
couldn't tell
single
you.
Susan? I know.
Do you know a single Susan?
You know a single Susan?
Not since like the 80s.
Suddenly, a single Susan cannot be established in this.
All the Susans in the comments section, raise your hand right now.
I'm a Susan.
I am a big fan of Susans everywhere. Susans are wonderful people.
Which fans? What
Susan, what do you think, Susan? I love you. I'm not trying to offend you. The point I'm trying to make is Suzu is not named Susan.
Susan.
That's the point.
Yeah, but you made it sound like as if like I love everyone named Susan, but these other names, yikes! It's like
Oh, I'm knackered.
you're knackered.
I'm getting tired. Just like,
I gotta drink some of my fluids.
So like, okay, so I guess like
where'd you even begin asking questions?
Yeah, right? Because it's like
this shit is so crazy. It's like, what
It's
the
just-
fuck am I supposed to?
So
Where do we even
we
start?
have got,
Yeah.
we have got the same musicians who made Nippon Manju,
okay.
and they have made a banger.
So
of a
Nippon
first
Manju
single.
is like the famous.
That was the first. That was the Lady
That was the
Baby
famous
single.
Lady Baby
Okay,
song.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Can I say the name of first single? Please go to internets. Check out Nippon Kara Konnichiwa by Baby Beard. Same people who made Nippon Manju. It's amazing, people. It's piece of musical madness. It'll make your earbuds tingle with wonder. You have never heard something as amazing as this. Adorable Japanese cute little idol voices. One noisy cross-dresser screaming. What more could you want in a musical product? Joey, take us to a commercial.
Yeah,
Our audio readout looks insane right now.
We should,
You just destroyed that
why
microphone.
are we reading the ads?
Yeah,
That's
right?
what I'm like, I don't want to read the ads.
What's a product? What's a product we're
No,
advertising?
you just read your own ad. You literally just read your
talking points.
Yeah, you are the talking point.
Let's do an ad for a fake product that we haven't invented yet. like the South African survival kit. You ready?
Shitty
Well, I
shower
don't know
kit.
about you, but when I find myself lost in Bloemfontein, it's always important to make sure that I've got a survival kit with me. That way, if I find myself without food, water, or shelter, there'll be something I'll be able to do.
You make it sound like that town is like
Is
the
this a
woods.
fever dream? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like what have I stumbled into today?
I've had fever dreams that are less weird than this.
Yeah.
I hope there are no South African ladies named Susan who happen to listen to this. If you're a South African named Susan, leave a message in the comment box below.
Okay.
I'm curious. So you obviously you said that you're going to be touring worldwide.
Yeah,
Where is the
hopefully.
majority of your audience? Japanese?
So, well, obviously Japan, but
Yeah.
it's the group. We have the death flu apocalypse at the moment. It's a little bit hard to establish physically where the audience is going to be. Personally, I have big fan bases all over the world, which is great. So we do the conventions like you characters do.
Yeah.
So
Characters.
do you not consider yourself a character? My elephant god.
I mean, the first time I met you was that was God. How many years ago was that?
That was 2016.
5 years ago?
16. Yeah, 2016. 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And like I had known about you, but then when I actually saw you in person, I was like, oh shit,
Oh, thank you.
it's that guy in the dress.
I feel like I don't know if this is rude, but I feel like a lot of people know of you, but they're not like quite sure, because your name, it's when
Your reputation precedes you.
well, when
You're just a memorable character.
Listen,
you know?
Thank you.
if I pop on your feed, right, on on Twitter, you see my face,
Yeah.
like, great, another white guy.
Yeah.
It's on mine, right? You see you. It's like it's kind of hard not to be like, I think I've seen this before. You know what I mean? Like,
It's either
I feel
I've
like that happens a lot.
it's either I've never seen this or I've definitely seen this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen
Yeah.
it.
You might hit it with, what the hell is that?
A lot of people have watched my videos, tons of them. They'll come to me like, do I know you from somewhere? Yeah, I'm
Like-
every generic white guy in existence.
All right, you look beautiful.
Have you ever had
outta
anyone
here,
come
you.
up
Get
to you
outta
and being
here.
like, have you like dead ass ever had anyone come up to you and being like, have I seen you before?
All the time.
Really?
It's much more like, oh, Ladybeard. That's much more.
Right.
No,
But
like,
I'm talking
they
about
know,
like people
they-
are like they're not sure if you're Ladybeard.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. But what?
Because you're so like
How does that happen?
What's interesting about being a long-haired, bearded white man in Japan is there's quite a lot of long-haired, bearded white men in Japan.
Really?
And I have been confused with people such as Zach Wilder.
Who?
Who's Zach
He
Wilder?
he plays guitar for Black Sabbath,
Oh.
the Black Label Society.
He's like a metal.
He's a heavy metal
musician,
legend. I don't look like him. Don't look like him at all. But I've got long hair and a beard, so I do.
Yeah. It's like white long haired beard. You're Zach Wilder.
You can see the picture right here now.
It looks
I,
nothing alike.
I was standing at a bus stop in Shibuya. I'm standing there waiting my bus stop, and this lady, actually, she was another white lady.
All right.
I should say another one because it's the first one in the story, apart from South African Susan. She was a white lady. She comes up, she looks at the bus stop, she reads the Times, and she sort of looks at me, reads the Times, looks at her phone, and she goes, "You look like Jesus."
bearded man with long hair.
"You look like Jesus." I'm like, thank you. She goes, "Can you do this? I want to take a photo and send it to my kids." What? I'm like, okay.
Why her kids?
Yeah.
Look at what I made this peasant do at the taxi stand. I made him T-pose.
It's like I'm an atheist, but I know you guys love Jesus.
Oi, I think as far as people to look like, Jesus is pretty good.
I mean, I've gotten that before as well.
You got Jesus?
When I had long hair, I definitely
Japanese
got
Jesus?
that. Yeah, Japanese Jesus. Yeah.
I feel like anyone with like long hair and a slight beard, I'm sure they've
And
gotten that.
and it's
combination
tall.
before.
Grow yours out. You'll be Thai Jesus.
No, it's literally it's literally long hair, beard, and you're tall. Right. That's the 3 steps to be Jesus. Right. Yeah.
The 3 steps to be
3 steps to be Jesus. Long hair, beard, and you're tall.
Where's the WikiHow article on like
How to be Jesus?
how to be Jesus?
Oh my! I've never. Have you ever had like crazy requests like that from fans in the street? Like to be like, can you do this weird thing?
I've never asked to do T-pose before.
No, I've never asked a T-pose
I
either.
probably will do now. Now that
it's good.
Yeah.
I'm like TT.
Is there any? Is there anything like? I guess. Okay, because like
That fell flat. Didn't it?
no, I was just trying to like formulate my question.
No, there's so many things
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like make sense of this chaos right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
like sensory overload from one source.
Okay, so because like I would say like I think anyone can agree, right? Looking at your entire history, you have done a lot of fucking
Done a
things.
heap of things. Yeah.
You've done a lot of different things. Is there like
That's an
any?
understatement.
That is a total understatement. But like, is there anything that you would personally like to like kind of add on to that? Is there like another completely separate thing where you're like, maybe down the road I'd like to do something like that?
I've injured myself now. I want to do a freaking baby beard. As in, my time with Lady Baby was brought to a halt so prematurely and so
Right.
abruptly. And I'm not going to go into details, but look, I was not really treated very nicely in the process.
Right.
And that was so unfinished that I feel a sense of incompletion if we don't go back and we don't finish that cycle off now.
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of what I want to do. Then beyond that, there's many other things that I want to do. But
That are like completely separate. Right,
Yeah.
From what you want to do.
yeah, but I don't want to bring them up now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess you
There are
gotta
things I
you
wanna
gotta
do.
hide it, right, and kind of reveal it, or
Look, yeah.
or you just don't want to share it.
Well, I mean, if you
I
say it
do.
now,
Hoi.
there's pressure for him to do it.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not that. Look, let's just stick with one thing we're talking about at one time. So far, we've been
We
very
can't.
unsuccessful doing
Yeah.
that with the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, we've been
I think
unsuccessful because you go on 17 million
This
tangents.
is, hang on, that was one accent that turned into a different accent
Yeah.
halfway through. Aye, look, I just want to do a baby a beard. That's the thing. I feel like I'm doing it right now with my life. When we finish that, I do another thing. Right now, that's the thing. Mamma mia.
Where did we go from here?
I
How
like.
did we get here?
I'm like genuinely like. I've never been dumbfounded in my life.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Please.
Sure.
Gart,
Yes.
your individual YouTube channel,
Yes.
how do you pronounce the name of that?
Giguk. Wait, did you pronounce it Gig UK like everyone else?
I said Gaiguk.
That's the third alternative. Yeah.
And then I thought potentially GG UK. I thought maybe you're just a huge Girls' Generation fan.
He could be.
GG UK.
Let's see Girls' Generation.
We'll get copyright claim.
We gotta get a copyright claim.
Oh, really? Copyright claim? What?
Because
You
you're
can't
just
sing it?
because you're too good.
Acapella? You can't do it
No,
acapella?
no.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you can
You
get
can't
copyright
sing
claims.
any song?
No.
Get out of here.
Lady B
like-
discovers the YouTube algorithm.
Oi!
You've been
Oi.
spoiled by TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oi.
So the YouTube algorithm has gotten so good now that they can detect covers of songs
people
when people
singing
are just
it a
singing
cappella.
it.
What if you're trying to sing the song but you're a really bad singer?
No,
No.
Get out of here.
I've heard people like I've actually heard stories of people humming songs in their YouTube videos and getting copyright claims for it.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What if you make an original song and purely by chance you accidentally picked the same hook
you
as
get
a
fucked.
real song?
That's
Yeah,
called
you get-
a
you get-
lawsuit.
No, seriously, you'll lose that.
Yeah.
You'll lose that.
Welcome to the YouTube
Man
ecosystem.
discovers. it's terrible.
This is the
Discover-
first time
discover
on the
algorithm.
podcast where I've seen you just be dumbfounded for words.
It's so bizarre because like I live in a universe where I have to like pretend like music doesn't exist outside of copyright-free music.
Right,
It's so
yeah.
bizarre.
Is there any questions you'd like to ask us? Because I feel like we've asked like literally every question we can ask you.
It's been good. I feel a bit selfish for not talking about you people.
No. You're the guest.
Our viewers know us they're probably fucking sick of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really enthusiastic to hear about Gygook/GG UK. So now that that's done, I wanted to sing Girls' Generation with everybody, but
you
that's-
can't.
that's
I'm
not
curious,
gonna
have you
happen.
ever had a normal job? Like a quote unquote normal? I'm just wondering, like, because I'm sitting here thinking, right, you know, if I went into like, you know, I go into like H&M
Yeah.
and you're just there like,
I can't imagine.
how is your t-shirt, sir?
I can't imagine you at like a Big W or anything like that. You know, like I can't imagine you at like a regular store.
One of the reasons I've worked so hard on this career is exactly because I don't exactly fit in elsewhere, do I?
Have you ever had a normal job?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, my first jobs
What
were
was your-
normal.
What were your first
I want
jobs?
his stories.
I worked in retail when I
Oh,
was
God,
like
where?
18
What did you-
or whatever.
What did you do?
You know, a store in Australia, girls' clothing store called Supre.
Yeah.
I worked at Supre.
You worked at a super.
I was the first boy they ever hired.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Oh, and now I'm wearing the stock.
Did they fire you for
Where did you
grabbing
learn?
the
Where do you think you learned the drip from?
I'm very bad at normal jobs. This is why I've got such a.
I cannot imagine you working at retail at all.
I wasn't very good at it. And so I worked retail, and then I didn't enjoy it much, so I stopped that, and then I became a dish pig in a restaurant.
Right.
So I was a dish pig in like the nicest restaurant in Adelaide.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that in one way, that's
McDonald's.
a great. In some respects, actually,
The finest establishment.
welcome to South Australia.
We have one McDonald's.
Yeah, so I was a dish pig at this restaurant. It was actually quite a good job. There are a few things about it that made it hard. I was bad at the plates, as in I was good at doing the pans. I was good at the frying pans of that. I liked that. I was good at it. I was very slow at the plates and the knives and forks. So that ruined it for me.
Because it's like more like fragile.
what's the
or-
difference?
I was just bad at it. Well, with the pans, you're there with your sink.
Yeah.
Pan goes, sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
Pan goes in, wash pan goes out.
Right.
With the plates and stuff, there was like an industrial dishwasher that you had to load.
Oh,
so you gotta
right.
Get the plates loaded, put them in, wash them, get them out, get them dried.
Wouldn't that be easier though?
Well, I was just bad at it. I don't know why.
How do you be bad at that?
I was just crap at it.
Is it because like dishes are more delicate? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't imagine you handling things delicately.
There's that's part of it, but also there's just such volume of it. You got to go so fast. So that's what I
Right.
felt. I could do it, but I was just slow.
Right.
So therefore, I could not work if it was only me. I had to be there with someone else, and I would do the pans, and they would do the machine.
Wow.
Yeah, but generally, I actually quite enjoyed that job. The problem is, it was always on a Friday and Saturday night, so you'd miss your social life. Right? No more cross-dressing parties for me, Gant. None of them. I was covered in slop.
This episode is sponsored by Honey.
We all shop online. And gentlemen, we've all seen that promo code field taunt us. It keeps me up at night.
I can't stand it.
Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes like a peasant is a thing of the past.
Tell me, Joey, what does Honey do?
Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best ones it finds to your cart. It supports over 30,000 stores online.
30,000?
30,000. And they range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery.
I've saved over $30 on pizza, and we all know how expensive that damn thing is in Japan. But thankfully, thanks to Honey, it's an affordable price. But God, how does it work?
I'll tell you how it works, Connor. Imagine this. You're shopping at one of your favorite sites.
I'm imagining.
So when you're at the checkout, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds, and then Honey will search for all the coupons it can find and apply it to that site.
It's that easy?
Yes, and if Honey finds a working coupon, you just watch as the price goes down. What?
Damn.
Not just that, God. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings.
Billion with a B?
That's big, God.
Wow.
If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings.
I am.
It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds.
And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. And we would never recommend something we don't use.
So, you can get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/trash taste. That's joinhoney.com/trash taste. Links down in the description below.
Back to the episode.
Maylene's killing it. Let's hear it for Maylene. Maylene and Ashley, killing it. Maylene and Ashley Shiori doing an excellent job. Okay, I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy long flights.
You just started to the audience. You just went. I quite enjoy long flights.
How can anyone enjoy long flights?
Well,
What do you enjoy? What do you? Are you in like economy?
when you're running around all the time, And
What,
doing,
Nathan?
doing
Are you a
lot of-
peasant?
Just say that did sound a bit aggressive.
No, because
You don't fly in economy, do you?
Exit my studio.
No.
Caviar, please.
No, because in my mind, I don't enjoy, like, I only fly economy, and I don't enjoy that shit.
Yeah, I feel like when you
He's
say I
backpedaling
enjoy,
now.
you know,
He's
people who
backpedaling
say
now.
I enjoy
Try to
flying.
appeal to the little
Yeah.
people. The commoners.
If someone says I enjoy flying, my first immediate thought is Emirates first class.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah,
I
yeah.
bet you do.
My stance on the experience.
The man's about to start a twit longer.
My stance on the experience is, being the people we are,
Right.
show business, busy schedules, busy lives,
yeah.
lots of getting up, running around the place, Tokyo trains,
Yeah.
hectic. Get to the airplane, no choice but to just sit there for
Right.
9 hours
That's great.
and watch a damn movie.
Right.
Right.
So what's great about that?
Because it means I'm not running around like a psycho.
No, I do agree that it's quite relaxing. 'Cause it's like the one time that you like disconnect from the world.
Yeah, because there's
Completely.
no other
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
No one can get upset if you didn't reply an email because you were on a
true.
plane.
That's true.
Actually, like, since they started introducing Wi-Fi to planes, I actually don't like it.
No, because the worst part is that it's not even good enough. So it's just good enough where you can maybe load a tweet after
Yeah.
refreshing like 10
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
So it gets your hope up. You pay $20 for it and it's shit.
No, I completely get like the whole like disconnecting from the internet
mate.
thing
Yeah.
because like I remember like the one time I flew business in my life, I was like, oh, I get Wi-Fi and it's fast enough to load YouTube. Hell yeah. All I'm going to do is watch YouTube. In the end, I slept for half of it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very comfortable in business.
That's the
Yeah.
point, right? Is
Yeah.
that people get it to sleep, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was
very
like, oh no, I'm going to be in the most comfortable position watching all the YouTube I want and there'll be no distractions whatsoever. I think I watched it for like 2 hours and I was
trying
like,
to sleep
I'm
on
going
a-
to sleep.
I don't know what it is about plane, but for me, sleeping on a plane is like nearby impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Like there is just like I can't know how you sleep with your
you cannot.
physique. I have trouble enough finding space on a plane seat as enough as it is.
You must scare everyone when you walk on that plane. Everyone's like, fuck, please hope he's not next to me.
Think I'm a terrorist.
Honestly,
With my beard, long ass
No,
hair.
you're just like a giant dude.
If I see
Yeah.
someone, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm sitting there in economy, right, and I
Yeah.
see you walking down the aisle, I'm like, please, not next to me, not next to me, because I'm
very-
like, I like it when it's an old lady.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because-
know
yeah,
she's gonna be like tiny.
If there's
in
a
seat,
massive
I can
dude
take
of
up-
this size sitting next to you, you're like, well,
Fuck.
rip armrest.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, and also-
that armrest is going to him, not
And
me.
also, the moment I ask you to move to go to the toilet, I've made like a fucking scene. It's like the whole plane has to reshuffle. when we're getting up. Yeah.
Oh, chickens are falling out. Oh, yeah. Next time you catch a plane,
Yeah.
you could try reading a book.
Sarcasm. I assume.
I'm serious. That's another thing you could do on a plane. which is very
that's what I do though.
I think it's
It
great.
gives me plenty of time to like read a book.
This,
but-
sounds like one of those very pandering things, like 10 things you can do on a plane.
Read a book.
It's like
Have you ever heard of one of those before?
life hacks. 10 things you can do on a plane.
Books contain a wealth of knowledge you can access during your 9 hours of sitting.
Do you read a lot of books?
I do now. I never did before, but it was about halfway through 2019. I suddenly
what made
became a
you just-
bookaholic.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. Something snapped. Well, I was doing lots of shows in China at the time. And so I was back and forth. It's funny because everyone on the management team is like, well, it's just like a 3-hour flight. So it's nice and close. So you just do it takes all day.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
So you say 3-hour flight, but going to the airport alone is like a 2-3 hour
Yeah.
process.
So go on to the airport, then you get to the airport, go through all that at the airport, then the flight, then get off the plane, all the stuff at the airport, then get to wherever you're going. It's like a 12-hour process, a whole day, right?
for sure.
And so I just spent so much time on the planes. I've watched through all the movies of interest, and they only refresh them once every 2 months or something.
Right.
So seven times
you
you
know.
can watch a Jason Statham film. You know?
I watched plenty of those. I love Statham. He's a great man. He's fast and furious.
Yes.
But I watched through all of those, and so And so I switched to podcasts for a while. So I'm downloading podcasts and I'm just, hey, Trash Taste podcast. Next time you catch a plane, don't forget to download Trash Taste first. So I went through that, and podcasts are kind of good because you kind of fall asleep with them and then wake up and you kind of still know what's going on, sort of. But I got to a point when my ears were sore from the things in them too much, and I was like,
yeah.
So I discovered the magic of books. And now
Did you know that before podcasts existed, people read these things called books?
books are awesome.
So there's these things, right? It's called audiobooks, but it's just written down. It's crazy.
Incredible. It's incredible. If you miss something or if you don't understand, you can go back and read it.
Just read it again.
It's amazing. It's so efficient.
Oh yeah, so what kind of books are you reading?
What am I reading at the moment?
Like fiction, non-fiction?
No, non-fiction.
Non-fiction,
generally
like
speaking.
autobiographies and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, no, nothing that people want to hear about.
Just nothing interesting.
I have a boring hobby. And I read books related to that boring hobby.
I mean, you have such an intense job. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really put it past you to have a somewhat, quote unquote, boring hobby.
I mean,
it's the
most
yin to
people
the
who are
yang.
like, I feel like have like intense, showmanship.
Right.
Normally have like something that kind of
what's like-
Rounds them,
relaxes
brings them
Yeah.
back down
Yeah.
to the earth.
Well, it's like people, who like spend all day, every day going to like metal concerts, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you can't listen to metal at home. You got to like, relax with some Enya or something, right?
There was a very successful. He was a quarterback in the NFL, and he was like one of the most feared quarterbacks in the league when he was playing.
Right.
And his hobby was to knit.
Great for
So he was a
dexterity.
gigantic, like 200-kilo man, knitting scarves for grandma and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds like
I mean,
a
that's just
very
wholesome.
therapeutic.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's what he said. He said it calmed him down.
Yeah.
What are your boring hobbies or interesting hobbies?
Funnily enough, like because our job is our hobby, or it started
Right.
off as a
Yeah,
hobby,
yeah.
right? We've had to like, I guess, try to find hobbies outside of our
Find new
hobby.
Try new hobbies.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because every hobby that, like, at least I've pursued, I've somehow monetized it.
Yes.
And it's kind of like turned into a job.
You know, kind of the same thing. Everything that was once
Monetized.
once a
Shitting,
passion,
monetized.
everything that was once a passion for me is now the job.
Right,
So I know
exactly.
exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
So what do you do? What
mean,
do you do?
Definitely exercise for me. It's
good.
definitely, but
Man,
I
good
guess you
answer.
kind of.
Conor McGregor. Oh, Conor McGregor. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Oh, look at the Irish. The fighting Irish. You're not Irish. You're Welsh.
Connor's not Irish. He's not even Irish.
You're Welsh.
I was going to say because I guess in some aspects you exercise for you probably is part of the job,
Part of the
right?
job, yeah.
So I feel like for me because I don't really fucking need to do it. I just do it
Yeah,
'cause
right.
for me it's very much.
That's
like,
great. What do you
turns it
do?
up.
What do you do?
Cardio and lifting stuff,
Good.
lifting weights like a monkey. I guess
Good.
feels like
Like a monkey.
That's what it feels like. You ever just feel like I'm just literally just lifting things, and I come back the next day, and I come back and lift things again. And sometimes I sit there and I'm thinking like, this is so bizarre. isn't
Why do we
it?
do this?
I literally just come back and I just lift things for an hour.
Like
Isn't it strange?
I feel that way on the treadmill, where you just feel like a fucking hamster, like
Yeah.
going around the wheel.
It makes
Yeah.
you feel great. So it's like I need to do this, but sometimes I do have this existential crisis of like, what am I doing?
I just imagine like aliens coming down to Earth being like, what do you humans do
I
for
know,
a hobby? We lift heavy objects and feel great about it. Like, oh, okay, I
They're
guess.
looking at the treadmill thinking that it's to generate electricity.
This is fantastic.
But you
They've
do-
figured it
wait.
out.
We spend electricity to make it work.
You do this for fun?
I mean, yeah, personally, I just find that, I'm not really trying to get like, in any particular shape. I just find that I sleep better, I feel better when I do it, occasionally.
Very good for you.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
do some
yeah.
promotion of exercise. Trash
Yeah, do
Taste
it.
listeners, you should try exercising.
I feel like, when I mention it, everyone's like, oh, he's trying to be like a Chad or some kind of meathead. It's like, no, it's just. Do you know
What's a Chad?
Oh my God.
You don't know
are
what
literally a Chad.
You are a Chad.
Hang on just a second. I feel like I'm supposed to be insulted.
Okay,
What the
okay.
hell is
No,
a Chad?
no,
Because I know
So-
that you people in the United Kingdom refer to a bogan as a chav. Is that a different
No.
thing?
So,
It's completely
what's a
different.
bogan? Wait.
It's a chav.
Okay. Don't say anything. Just say it. When you hear the word Chad, what comes to mind? What image springs to mind?
The kid who lived next door when I was growing up.
You don't think of like the American guy in the film who's like
Yeah.
the kind of bully, kind of,
Like a
normally-
jock?
No,
yeah,
I-
he's
no,
normally
I
what
don't.
that's normally that's where the meme came from.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, really? His
Like
name's
a
Chad.
lot of like American films
like
where
the
like
bully's always a Chad or something.
like the
literally.
jock in the high school
I
was
see.
always Chad.
Or like Buddy or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. So that's where the meme came from, and that means like now it's kind of adopted into someone who's just like now it just means like someone who I guess is
Who exercises.
not
no,
even that. It's just kind of like a strong-willed man, I'd say at this
Like
point.
very high self-esteem, like, you know,
Yeah, I
like
guess that's kinda
hell
what it
yeah,
is.
I'm
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shit kind of.
Just
you know,
someone who
typically
exudes
muscular.
Yeah.
confidence.
Is Joe Rogan a Chad?
Yeah.
I don't know the definition.
I would say he's a Chad.
I would say he's a
Yeah.
Chad.
Chad?
I
Yeah.
feel like it used to just mean guy who's ripped and massive, and it kind of like got
Yeah.
blurred along the way to just,
just
be like
guy who
self-confidence.
exudes self-confident
Yeah.
energy. and
Fuck
just-
me.
But yeah, sometimes people try and like mock the.
Why are you like?
Why are you so confused?
You young people are appropriating names like it's not relevant.
Well, but we have.
Karen, that name's been ruined. Now Chad. We've already destroyed Susan. I'm sorry, South African Susan, for listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then it started. What was it? It was the Chad versus the Virgin as well.
Yeah, Chad versus
That
the
got
Virgin.
popular.
Like
Touched for the
the
very first
virgin was
time.
like the opposite of the
Yeah,
Chad.
yeah,
Someone
yeah.
who just was
Self-deprecating,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Low
you know.
self-esteem.
low self-esteem, couldn't
Right,
get girls.
That's a
Well,
virgin. A virgin is typically pure and innocent and delightful.
That's the Japanese
Japanese,
way of
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about it. I would say that's the Japanese
Hang
definition of
on.
virgin.
What, pure and delightful?
Yeah, I think-
Pure and like, you know, untainted.
That's
Yeah.
everyone's idea of a virgin.
Not on the internet.
The internet doesn't know what's talking about.
Yeah, those group of hive mind of every people from every country. That's what they're talking about.
No, I don't want to talk about who's on the internet.
Yeah, so
What
you
are
are.
their hobbies? You can get to their hobbies. now.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, yeah,
So you are a Chad.
yeah. You are officially certified Chad.
Yeah.
Change my name to Lady Chad.
Honestly, if you want internet rebranding, it might work.
Could work. Could work. Like, I didn't know I was Chad. Now
You know what? You know what that would be perfect for? That would be like a second channel name for a YouTube channel,
Yeah,
right?
Chad.
Your main channel is Lady
my
Beard.
workout channel.
Yeah.
Dude, this is wasted marketing.
It's like, what type of fucking it's like, what type of fucking pussies is Lady Chad today? Top 10 ways to lift.
One of the joyous things about being a cross-dresser and a martial artist is probably Chads, actually, when I was younger, jocks and the kind of dudes who wanted to fight. They would come and they would want to fight the cross-dresser straight away.
Of course.
Right.
Since I'm a martial artist,
Right.
it's a beautiful thing when a man in a skirt knocks out a Chad with a jumping spin kick. That's a thing of beauty.
You just get Chun-Li
That's
on their
art.
ass, right?
Yeah, I did.
Exactly.
It was good. It was good.
Okay, so like that's the other thing I wanted to ask as well is about like the martial arts because I don't think we got like fully into how you developed or you decided to kind of do that as like a thing.
I still want to
do,
find out
right?
your
Like,
hobbies later, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know.
There's so
hobbies
many
too.
things I want to ask actually.
Yeah,
Go,
but like,
go
so
on
like,
that
so like,
first.
how did you grew? So obviously, you know, you grew appreciation towards wrestling through watching WWE and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So is that kind of the same thing with martial arts as well?
With martial arts, I I was took an interest in it from a young age. You know, I think probably like potentially you and yourself as well. Bullied a lot as a child, younger sibling.
I'm an older sibling.
I'm the
How
middle.
are you?
I'm the middle sibling.
You
He doesn't have
bastard.
siblings.
I am an only
Oh,
child.
wow, you're spoiled, aren't you? Yeah, everybody hail the elephant god! No siblings, two parents.
I love how the one person you didn't point at is the younger sibling.
The younger
You're
sibling.
the middle child.
Middle, yeah.
Middle.
High five, middle child.
Yeah, wait. Are you middle or?
I'm 3 in a lineup of 4.
Oh, so yeah, I'm same.
Yeah. Yeah, we both got red beards. Me and Connor. Hey, Connor beard.
You're basically
New collaboration.
you're basically the same person.
We are. You're Welsh. Me, not in a skirt.
Not quite as physique, I don't think. A bit lacking in that department.
It's like the Pokemon evolution.
Charmeleon, Charizard.
Like I can see the meme on Reddit already. You take one of your cosplay videos and it's just like
It's evolving. Dun, 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 dun.
Of course. This is
Somebody
awesome.
make that on the subreddit, please.
This is awesome.
Anyway, martial
How
arts.
it began, how it's going.
You versus the guy talking not to worry about. Anyway, martial arts.
Yeah, so I got bullied a lot, and I liked the Karate Kid movies.
You got
Which you're
bullied?
Too young. Yeah, man. I was a fat kid.
Oh, okay.
I
I
got
was
bullied
gonna
a lot.
say, no one's ripped in school.
Yeah.
Except that one kid who's really thin and has abs. Fuck that kid. Like, that kid sucks.
Eats pizza, drinks beer all day, still got his 6-pack.
Somehow still has abs.
Ain't right. It
God
ain't right.
dang.
God, they say God doesn't have favorites. Bullshit, man.
So what like martial arts did you take up?
I started in Taekwondo,
Okay.
and then I went into Capoeira.
Oh, wow.
Then I went into Muay Thai, And then from there, the floodgates opened. I went to Jeet Kune, Kali, freestyle grappling, Hapkido,
Who teaches you?
Where'd you find the time to do that? How long does it take to learn a martial arts, or did you just like dabble in it and learn what you need to do?
I mean, it's Oh, hear that? That's not good. Sorry, that was bad broadcast etiquette.
That's okay. That's all right.
It's all good.
No, you start training. Look, the thing about training is it's just the thing that you do, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
I started training Taekwondo. They had Taekwondo at school, and so then on Friday after school was the thing that I did. Just did Taekwondo. 'Cause they had
Yeah, but
Taekwondo.
you also listed off about like 9 different types of martial
Yeah,
arts.
so
So you list
start-
up
you
every
start
single
training.
martial arts.
You start training and you develops your skills and you develop an interest.
Yeah.
And so then you get exposed to other martial arts.
Right.
And you say that looks interesting because you have a space of comparison now with what you're learning and what they seem to be learning. So now you can say, all right, well, that looks interesting. It looks like something that could help with what I'm trying to achieve.
Right.
And so then you kind of end up expanding, right?
So what would you say is like your favorite type, I guess, or like,
Well, like-
one that you learned from the most?
Well, like Taekwondo is my first love, you know, so that's kind of the one. And also because I did it when I was the youngest, it's the one that stuck in my body the most easily.
How young were you when you did Taekwondo?
Started at 13.
13. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like I got flexible before I became a teenager and my flexibility was naturally taken away.
Right.
So that's allowed me to stay flexible. I can still do the high kicks and the splits and everything. Yeah.
You can do splits?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll do them on this table if you want. That's why I added if you want. Yeah. So started Taekwondo. Can't remember the rest of the question.
Just wondering how you got
What
started.
is
Yeah.
martial arts? I mean, I wonder, is there like a scale of like this martial arts is more useful than this one? Or it's just like because I've seen in like a bunch of other stuff that there's just so many martial arts that seem like they're like almost actually are fake or like that they're not. Is that controversial to say? I don't know if that is.
Look, this debate has raged in the martial arts community.
Oh, is it
since the
really?
dawn of
Okay, I have
time.
no idea.
So this is everyone has an opinion on this.
Really?
And now that we've got competitive mixed martial arts, the consensus seems to be Muay Thai for your striking, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for your grappling. But then you got to understand as well, that's sport in a cage when there are rules.
Right.
So then if there's no rules, if you're in war or self-defense in the street or something, then you have systems like Krav Maga, which is all based around murder, basically.
Right.
So like there are other styles like particular kung fu styles where you never do anything except strike the eyes and the throat and the groin. That's literally all you do in the whole art, right?
Oh my god.
So it'll there's no, in my opinion, there's no best system or anything. It just depends what you're doing with it.
Right.
And there are the different, different round pegs to fit into round holes and square pegs for square holes and things like that.
You ever done MMA?
No, I've trained MMA. I haven't fought. I was actually interested in fighting. We were going to do it a couple of years ago. I actually started training for it.
Oh, really?
Finally found a thing this man hasn't done yet.
I started training for it, but it just became apparent that it was like on a cost benefit ratio. It just wasn't really good. Well, there's a lot that goes into it, right? I was going to need a good 2 years of consistent training to properly get my skills back.
Right.
Yeah.
To where they need to be for fighting. But then also you got to consider, okay, so what weight am I going to fight at? Am I going to do a big weight cut? Let's say I do that, then afterwards, okay, well now that's going to affect my wrestling because now I'm skinny.
Right.
But then also, let's say I do the fight and it goes well. Well, what does that really lead to? More opportunities to fight. I don't really want to be a professional fighter, but now I've organized my whole life for that sake.
Right.
So, and like... and that's if the fight goes well. If the fight goes badly, I just look like a fucking moron, don't I? I need plastic surgery. I probably need to go back home. So yeah.
You trained for 2 years to get publicly beaten
Right,
up, right?
right.
God, that's tough.
Yeah. So I thought about it actually. I've trained MMA and I really liked the training. I was interested in fighting.
Well, what's like the difference between training MMA and training just a normal martial arts?
Well, MMA, it's everything mixed together, right? But also you have quite
Well, you've done so
specific-
many already, right? So
Yeah, but you got quite a specific rule set in MMA that must be followed. You're fighting in either a cage or a ring,
right.
so it's built for that environment. So in MMA, you do a lot of work against walls. So there's a lot of grappling against walls because you naturally have a wall that you're going to meet at some point in the fight, and you can't go further than that, right?
Right.
But then, if you were fighting in the desert, that would not be the case. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a specific rule set. So you train for that rule set and for the skill set required for that environment.
Okay.
Whereas, if you're going to do street self-defense or something, depends on What attitude do you want to take?
Because I've always wanted to get into martial arts, but I didn't know which martial arts to start with, basically. Because there's
training.
so
I'll
many.
train you.
Yeah, sure.
Is there like a I guess like a kind of a difficulty, or is there like I assume
Difficulty curve.
well, not so much difficulty curve.
Tutorial martial arts.
Well, it's more like like what
just test the button.
What is like that? What is like the easiest type of martial arts to get into if you have like no prior knowledge in it? Because I assume there are some martial arts where it's like you need to
feel
have
like that
some
is such a
base
trick
level of
question.
martial
Yeah.
arts.
No,
Right?
because they're all systems. And
Right.
so when you start training the system, you start at the beginning.
Right.
So no one's going to put you
So there's
in.
no like type of martial art where it's like you need to have like prior knowledge of
There's no
basic kung fu.
there's no 10-hit combo that you need to
No.
memorize.
There would be for particular forms, not the art itself, but
Right.
particular training environments. Like if
Right,
you want to go
right.
to this guy's school, you need to have 10 years experience or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But not for the art itself, no.
right.
And straight up, if you're jumping into expert level when you're a beginner, then you're just making a silly decision.
Yeah, honestly.
Like moving on from martial arts, stuntman. What does that involve?
Well,
how do
okay,
you train
so-
for that?
Yeah.
What'd you do on the
Dude,
job?
freaking stunts is bonkers, man. Being a stuntman is a tough gig.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I bet.
All right, so for me, I was a actor, so
Yeah.
performer and martial artist. So those two things just naturally evolve into
Yeah,
stunts
yeah,
and
yeah.
pro wrestling eventually, right? But dude, stunts is hard. Firstly, you got to decide. Are you just going to do stunt? Like what I did was, punching and kicking and falling down, basically.
Right.
So it was fight scenes. But then stunts also includes cars, boats,
Because
getting
some
set on fire, things
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah, like some stuntmen have to like flip the cars over while
Yeah.
they're in it, which is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
That's a whole new skill set, right?
Yeah.
So it really it's saying, what about stunts? It's kind of like saying how long is a piece of string. There's so many different things you can do. You can be like falling off buildings and
So
things.
what was
You
like
can
some
do
of the stuff that you did?
So for me, I was doing fight scenes, right?
Right.
So like I trained in the Hong Kong style of action, and my master, I shouldn't call him my master, the guy who was training me, he was on Jackie Chan's stunt team throughout the 90s and noughties. So he did movies like he did a couple of the Rush Hours, he did Shanghai Noon.
Oh, wow.
He did some of the smaller Hong Kong ones like the Twins Effect, and these
Okay.
kinds of movies, right? But like the way they work in Hong Kong is like, I should stop saying like so much. That's not good, is it?
You say it less than us.
Yeah.
The way they like, oh my god, I do it again. The attitude. Okay, the slogan of the slogan of the Hong Kong Stuntman Association. He
Right.
told me when he was in it: risk life, save money. So that's the kind of attitude you're
Wow.
dealing with.
Wow.
No
If-
bullshit.
If you I've never had a harder teacher in my life. This
Yeah.
dude was so tough.
Right.
It's like you're expected to backflip off a balcony whilst on fire into a pool of broken glass. And if you're like a little bit hesitant, he's like, no, you're so weak. What's wrong with you? Harden up. Harden up.
That is the ultimate Chad.
No, it's just like a psychopath.
Yeah.
But the stunts attracts kind of this type A personality.
I think so.
type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah.
He was telling me stories about when he was back in Australia. He was from Melbourne. We're in Australia before he went to Hong Kong was with Jackie.
Right.
And just the stuff he did just as a thing to do was bonkers.
Well,
It's
like as a hobby.
not necessarily as a hobby, but like he'd kind of do it towards stunts, sort of. But he was like, one day we're driving past a train station in Melbourne. And, there's like the bridge that goes over the train track. And then there's like a pole sticking up like 10 meters away from it or something.
Yeah.
A pole with the dingy-dongy lights on it or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, when I was younger, before I went to Hong Kong, I was going to jump off the bridge onto the pole. Yeah, I was going to do that. Yeah, we didn't have a camera at the time, so I didn't. I'm like, what? I was like, I was jump off. What? I was like,
But just for fun.
this 10-meter jump from this bridge on to catch a pole.
To be like, I did it.
Here's a thing to do. I think his attitude was he would film it and then it would be part of his stunt show reel. I think that was his attitude.
Right.
But that's the kind of people, like, just fearless men.
So are you doing stupid
And
shit
women.
like jumping off buildings into like glass?
Yeah. How'd you
where did you draw
I
the line?
did because I'm not that talented. Other people
Talented.
did.
What talent you need?
Dude,
I mean,
you-
like, how'd you train for that? That's what I want to know.
There's a natural level of talent that's required. So the guys who become career stuntmen are generally speaking the kids who were, the fastest runners in school, the kids who are naturally very physically
Athletic,
apt.
right.
Naturally very apt. I'm not. I was a fat kid at school. So I got a level of skill just because I trained, but I don't have the natural talent for it, right?
Right.
Yeah. These guys, man, like I've got friends who now are doing the stunts in all the like the Marvel films and so forth.
Right.
Okay.
And they're just the moment they were born, they were better than me after 100 years of training. You know what I'm saying? It's like my capoeira teacher.
That guy can just throw himself off a building so goddamn good. I wish that were me.
It's like they backflipped out of the womb with a six-pack and a charming smile. It's like just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. My goodness.
God.
Yeah, so it's like that's the level of natural talent that's required. But also, when you get to that level, a lot of them just
crazy.
Type A personality.
You have to be. You can't. You can't. Like
100%. If you're willing to be hit by a car, like just stand there. We're gonna drive a car into you. Okay. Just freaking crazy.
Oh, good take.
Was that good? Was that good? We can. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
It's just on the ground, legs broken. Was that good?
A lot of wrestlers as well. It's like, okay. So it's funny when we're pro wrestlers, you're backstage in the locker room.
Yeah.
Everyone's normally so mellow.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, oh, I want to go Shimosu. So chilled out. And then, okay, so we'll go into the ring and, about 3 minutes in or so, you can hit me with the baseball bat wrapped up in barbed wire. He's like, they hit me with it here last week. It's still healing, so you better hit me with it here. Really? Are you sure that's what you want me to do? What do you want to do? Let's take a quick break for this 1 minute break. And we'll be right back on the Voice of Africa Radio Network. It's funny because wrestlers will be in the locker room and they're all, and they're taping up knees and things. They're like, They go out to the ring and and they're superheroes.
Yeah.
Right? They go back, they're all bleeding and everything. More blood everywhere. So good. Stunt people and pro wrestlers. It's what a life.
What a life.
What a life, eh?
Credits roll.
What a gimmick.
I suppose like pro wrestlers is just a natural evolution of stuntmen, right?
I felt that way.
Because it's just like it's more controlled stunts and you add a narrative to it.
I felt that way. And also the guys who tend to go into stunts seem to be much more like talented with the physical stuff. And I was better at the character performance type stuff.
Right,
so for
right.
me, it seemed like a much more natural evolution.
Right.
What are some of the craziest stunts you've had to do?
Well, I wasn't that good, so I didn't get to do that much amazing stuff.
Right.
Jumping off balconies, done some of that. It's not that hard.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to jump off a balcony personally.
How tall are we talking here?
Not that tall.
What,
Like
how?
second story kind of. Not that tall.
It's still pretty tall. I wouldn't do it.
My trainer was like, "You're weak. You're such a sissy." He's doing like 20 stories and things, just insane.
This is how real Chad does it.
Oh my god, man! It was never good enough.
Some people are just like cockroaches, right? They just can't die. Honestly, it's like insane.
In pro wrestling, I hit over the head with one of those fluorescent light tubes.
Right.
That was good. That actually doesn't hurt, but it does cut you. So you end up bleeding.
Okay.
That's very oxymoron.
Have you ever gotten injured or anything like that?
Like properly injured?
Like, yeah.
Well, I've probably been concussed but didn't realize. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
How do you not realize?
I don't know what you're saying, unfortunately.
If I get concussed, I immediately realize.
Do you really though? That's the thing about concussion. You don't know
Really?
what's going on.
No.
That's the whole thing of concussion. You don't know what's going on. So you
Right.
need someone to stop you and be like, "You're concussed. We need to do the whatever happens
Touche.
after concussion."
Okay.
Touche.
We need to do what people who've done a first aid course.
Right.
Because like people who play American football like never know they're concussed.
Exactly.
And
They
then
go
just
straight back on the
die,
field.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like they have like the most. I think they die early because they have so much brain damage.
Right.
They're just hitting their head constantly. But they don't know.
So it's the same with MMA fighters.
Right,
In
right,
training,
right.
just getting jabbed, just getting little punches, they get like compounded brain damage from that.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not from getting knocked out. It's from just little shots over. and over.
Right.
Anyway, so light over the head, broken glass. Sorry, not broken glass. Barbed wire. Did some of that.
They're like Jesus.
Yeah, I did in that version. Hit with a shovel. Got hit in the head with a shovel.
You got hit in there with a shovel?
It was a great weapon.
Like
It was a
how
great
hard are we
weapon.
talking? Like just like a little like
Yeah.
boop or
Because like,
Boom! It was a
fuck.
great weapon, but if you hit it with the concave side, it's not that bad on your skull. The
Right.
convex side would really mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
The concave side, folds onto your skull.
Right. But like to control that, right, in the swing would be. I feel it'd be a lot harder than it looks.
Because like there's an image of pro wrestling that pro wrestling is fake and everything like that. But obviously the stunts are real. Like how hard do you have to go for all the stunts that you do in pro wrestling?
It depends. It depends on.
So like when
you.
so like for
I mean, you
example,
should give it hell, really.
So when you're saying the shovel, right? In my mind, my immediate thought is guy swings shovel, tries his best to stop it, but it still hits you. Is that what's happening, or is he literally going like, I'm going to hit you with the shovel?
Hit me as hard as you can. Bang.
Why?
Because I guess like the audience needs to hear the sound, right?
Yeah.
Hear the sound, and also it's like just
get someone on a soundboard in the back.
also, you want to do it when you're wrestling. You want to do it. There's an element of come on.
No, I don't. That's why I'm not a pro wrestler. That's why I'm not a pro wrestler. I am a version. The Chad versus the version.
I think you're making anyone listening to this sound like a virgin. I'm like,
we are all virgins.
Frankly, I don't want to be hitting that with a shovel. That is,
I used to love it. It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game.
You talk about this like it's like a pastime.
I used to
I feel
love
like, why is it, when a kid says that, it's like, oh God, this kid's going nowhere. When an adult says it, wow, he's such a manly adult. I feel like if my son comes up to me, age 5, Daddy, I love being hit in the head by a shovel, I'll be like,
I dropped you one too many times.
Looks like we gotta return this kid. How do we?
Jesus Christ.
No, it's oi, Chad's dig it.
Is it just the sheer manly energy and the testosterone going around?
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking hit me.
I mean, I guess
but
once you're on
how
the
do I
stage, it's like
explain? There's
I get it.
also
'Cause
something-
There's the adrenaline going on.
The adrenaline,
right?
and there's something somehow emotionally satisfying with it as well. So from an acting standpoint, acting is all emotion and so forth. So, right?
Right.
Wrestling is the most emotional work I've ever done because
I can
there's so much
imagine,
emotion involved in.
Oh, it's
being
real.
hit.
It's real.
yeah, it's real.
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's highly emotional, and there's something satisfying about it. It's like I say, it's a young man's game. It's you want to be doing that in your 20s.
Well, yeah, I think what was it, like the John Oliver thing on the WWE? I think I watched that, and it was saying that they're all contractors in WWE. They're not employees.
really?
Yeah. So they're contractors that can't work for anyone else.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And then once they're done, they don't really get much health benefits or anything. So a lot of them end up being really injured later on.
Right,
and just
right.
like,
that.
see ya.
That's getting fixed nowadays.
I hope
'cause
so,
there's
yeah,
many
yeah,
pros.
yeah.
Back in the day, lots of that. But there's something satisfying about it. This was not really dangerous, but we found those plastic wet floor signs that go into a triangle. You put them
Yeah.
Those are fantastic weapons.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
because when you hit someone with them, the two pieces of plastic clap together, so it makes a really loud noise.
Doesn't hurt.
So it doesn't hurt. So you go crack, crack, crack. You hit someone in the head with it over and over again. So I did that in a match once. It was great. I got hit in the head a bunch of times.
Right.
Hey, we did this spot. Then later on, I'm going home. I'm on the train, and there's some like young girl next to me. She sits down next to me. She's like, and I'm like, how are you? And she's like, oh my, I'm just, I think she got up and like changed seats or something. And I was like, that was odd. And then like we got off at the station and I walked past some reflective surface. And I'm not talking about this. We walked past some reflective surface. My whole like face had turned purple. The whole thing was purple. Yeah.
Looking like Megamind.
I'm having a casual chat. It's a nice evening, isn't it? Huge purple face.
You're just scaring all the Japanese people from foreigners. They're like, fucking hell, these foreigners are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I did a gimmick with fire once, but that wasn't bad from a pain perspective.
That
That was
was
bad. We almost burned building down perspective.
Wait, you said it wasn't bad from a pain perspective.
Yeah.
What was it bad? Okay, what perspective was it bad in?
From an insurance perspective. That's the perspective from which it was bad.
Right.
From the
Yeah.
you'll never wrestle in this building again perspective.
Oh, right.
I mean, doing anything with fire, 90% of the time requires some kind of safety.
Fire warden type.
We just started dueling. We just thought swords would be fantastic.
We had a stick with a cloth wrapped around it that'd been drenched in gasoline or something. And then we were safe. We had a bucket of water next to the ring.
Single bucket.
That's not how fire works.
So there's a fire truck right there. The bucket of water. The piss bucket on the side.
Might as well just gone on stage and taken your like insurance like and just set that
that
on fire, man.
Young people.
We had a thing one time with just needles, reused needles. We just thought it would be a great bit.
There's a shower at the facility. I just wash it off.
Yeah, in Japan, that's what most of them are like. The deathmatch workers in Japan.
Right.
That's what they're like. They'll go into the ring, be bleeding everywhere, and afterwards, arigato gozaimasu. Then they go and just have a shower and wash it off. And then
Jesus
head home. Yeah. So you go into the shower afterwards. There's blood everywhere, all over the shower floor.
Oh my God.
Like, God damn.
There's only 2 times when there's like a shit ton of blood in a shower, and that's at a wrestling match and prison.
Oh my God, Joey.
Now,
I'll leave that up to your imagination. Anyway,
I was not thinking that. That's not what I was going to say as my second answer.
I did not expect that joke from Joey. I didn't see that coming.
as well.
How long have you been holding that joke in?
it's like finally I get to say it.
How long have you been waiting to use
The
that?
perfect setup.
He's been holding on to that joke for years.
Yeah. It's like I never found a place to say it. Today's the day.
She's Shawshank Redemption.
I did it. I've hung out with you so many times just on a personal level, but like I guess like we never really go into like as
Talk
deeply
shop.
as what we what you do, right? So it's like I don't know. I mean, I for one have never met a pro wrestler who is also a metal singer, who is also a cross-dresser, who also is a stuntman.
No. Have we missed out anything? A martial artist.
A martial artist as well.
Voice actor.
Voice
usually a
actor.
Messiah as well.
Savior of mankind, of course.
Let me tell you about the time I split the Red Sea.
Let me ask you some questions.
Okay.
At what age did you begin your Anwanmei person activities?
You in my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I was, oh God, it's 2013, so I was 19.
2030. You were 19?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
26.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were, okay.
What did you think I was?
Well, younger than that, but thinking about it, I met you in 2016 when you were like 21 or something.
Yeah. I was,
So
like
I
20,
still-
I was like 22, 23.
To me, you're eternally 21. Forever 21.
Forever 21.
Forever 21
21.
is not quite forever, is it? Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I'm just saying, so university.
yeah, so it was my first year of university.
Okay.
I started as like a hobby, and then by the time I graduated university, I was like, oh, I can make this a living.
Ass kicking.
Cool.
What'd you study at uni?
I did, it was this degree called Design Computing, which is basically like, think of a Bachelor of Arts, but more technology based.
That sounds.
So I learned like music production, I learned like 3D modeling, graphic design, website design, all that kind of stuff.
Surely that's coming useful in this life. you
Well,
know?
yeah, because I learned video editing from one of the courses as well. So I was like, oh, I like video editing.
That's banging.
Yeah, I'm no longer the host of this show now. This is Lady Beard featuring Trash Taste.
On the voice of Ifrika,
Let's be honest. It was Lady Beard featuring Trash Taste from like
From the beginning.
From the very beginning.
Let me ask another question, actually. Aussie, Brit.
Yeah. Got the fucking ashes right here, man.
Explain the choice of this American word trash in your name. Why is we're not the podcast called The Rubbish Rabble?
Unfortunately, we have to cater to Americans with almost everything in our life, really.
Well, it's also because trash taste is kind of a term that we use in like the anime community.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell me
like
more.
if somebody has trash taste, it means like, oh, you know, you're into like the crappier shows and like the more guilty pleasure type of shows. Oh, you have trash taste in anime.
We haven't spoken about anime at all.
We haven't.
Have
I
you
just
watched anime?
realized that.
Do you watch anime?
Yeah. Let me explain my anime bit.
Go for it.
Okay.
So I used to be
I'm a
quite
stuntman
quite an anime fan.
Uh-huh.
But I had to switch all my content over to things that would help with my language learning, as opposed to watching for the sake of leisure.
Right.
Right.
So for the past 3 years, my prime watching of anime has consisted of Peppa Pig dubbed into Mandarin. I've watched Mandarin Peppa
Wow.
Pig. I used to
Wow.
watch it every morning.
I didn't
I'd
even
wake
know
up-
there was a Mandarin Peppa
I'd
Pig.
wake up and I'd put on Peppa Pig in Mandarin.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the
that's how
idea
you learn
was-
Mandarin.
The idea was when my brain waves were still whatever they are when you're sleeping,
Right.
like whatever, I'd absorb the language at that point. So I used to listen to it going to sleep and then also waking up. That was my strategy.
Wow.
And also Peppa Pig, because it's a children's show, means the language is nice and, basic.
Easy to understand. Yeah.
Normal life language as opposed to slaying dragons and stuff that happens in
Yeah.
more interesting anime.
Right.
And also the voices are recorded in the studio, so they're crisp and easy to hear. So,
Yeah, actually, that's one question I wanted to ask. How did you learn Japanese?
Japanese,
Because I'm sure many people watching this podcast would like to know that.
I don't recommend you learn Japanese the way I did. What I recommend you do is you go get the school, get the teachers, get the books. Just do it the traditional way. There's a big push in the language learning community to not do that anymore.
Right.
That's what has worked for thousands of years. That's why it is the system.
Wait,
Just
why is there
follow
a
the
push to
system.
not do that?
Because everyone's like, no, you should make learning fun. No, you should. Learning should be boring and tedious, and you should bash your way through it with your teacher and your exercises.
Right.
Because that's how you actually build the language properly from the ground up. What I did was I got Pimsleur's Japanese,
Right.
and I would, went through those programs and stuff, and then I did some lessons with a tutor, but it was pretty haphazard. I turned up in Japan and just tried to figure it out. Just no one around me spoke English, so I just had to figure it out. But now, 7 years into that journey, now my Japanese is full of holes and grammatical problems and things that Shiori is now trying to fix. So it's now much harder to go back and fix bad habits and just start out properly. So that's why I recommend do that. You grew up speaking it.
Yes, it's my first language, technically.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you can't really participate in the learning conversation. How did you flogs learn it?
I mean, we're
could you
still,
vlog? I'm sorry.
still learning. We're
Still learning. We're
Yeah.
terrible.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I mean, because
なんか
unfortunately,
もし今日本語を話したら大丈夫?
Well, it won't be Daijobu for the audience.
that's okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
I understand.
audience. Good point. You pulled that back quickly.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, I know. Well, I mean, Connor goes to classes. You don't go to classes, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's been hard because there's no way to get around it without putting time into it.
Yeah.
And time is, I feel like, the hardest thing to find as an adult, because everyone I've talked to who's learned Japanese, no matter what way they went through, what path they went through, there's no getting around just putting the hours into it.
Yes.
And it's like difficult in our situation because with our situation, it's different from your situation because we can go about our day and just not speak any Japanese at all and be completely fine with it because we work from home. So it goes down to having to find time outside of your schedule to learn Japanese.
Yeah, because I'm sure if Gant and Connor were thrown into a situation where you're stuck in this village in Japan where not a single person can speak English, so you just have to make your way through it by trying to speak as much Japanese as possible. I'm sure anybody in that situation would be like, all right, I guess I got to start speaking Japanese, right?
That's one option.
It's unfortunate because I mean, it's obviously great that we have so much work to do and that it is so successful because I would love to take a year off and just do nothing and learn it.
I'd love to do that as well.
Unfortunately, it makes literally no sense right now to do that because everything's going so well.
Sure, I reckon if I had control of your schedule, I could get your Japanese learning stuck in there.
Lady, the assistant.
You gotta be ruthless about it. You gotta find little windows at a time where you can slip it in.
Yeah.
And the things like first thing in the morning. Yo, get Peppa Pig dubbed into Japanese. I'm not joking. That's great because you can see the situations they're going through are so basic. And every day, this is my mum. This is my dad. We're kicking a ball. Go through that. That's gonna teach you properly. Then also get your damn books and your teachers in your class.
How many seasons of Peppa Pig are there?
It's not that many.
How long before you started learning Japanese to the point where you were like, all right, I'm pretty fluent now?
Being in Japan, it was 1 year before I was not a total moron anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years before I felt somewhat competent. But I'd say 5 years before I really feel like I can
Talk to anyone, talk about anything.
Yeah, but I don't even really still feel I can do that,
Right.
If I don't know someone, if they start doing something like weird, like talking Keigo, see you later. I can't talk. See you later, man. That's like a different language.
Oh,
if they
yeah,
start
it is,
pulling
yeah.
out Kansai Ben, I'm like, who's this jackass? What you doing talking to me like some Kansai person?
Oh yeah, I mean Keigo, I guess it's everybody everywhere in Japan, usually, uses it, but when it comes to different dialects, even I'm sometimes completely lost if I'm in the
Yeah,
middle
it's
of
not
nowhere.
very
Right?
confident inspiring when you talk to natives and they're like, I don't know what they're saying. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Like Kansai Ben, right, is because you hear it so much on TV and stuff like that. It's like one dialect where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can kind of figure out what you're saying. But if I'm in Okinawa or
I was gonna say Okinawa.
or Hokkaido, or middle of nowhere in Hokkaido, then I'll be like, I think you're speaking Japanese, but I couldn't tell you what the fuck you're saying.
Did you have to? So you grew up speaking Japanese.
Yep.
But did you have to, were there parts of the language you needed to study, like particles or anything like
Yeah, absolutely. So like I did the JLPT,
that? Okay.
which is like the Japanese language proficiency test.
Yeah.
And I got N1, which is the highest level. I had to study for that. I got that when I was like 14, I think.
What a badass.
14, 15. But I studied like fucking crazy for that.
Good man.
Yeah.
See? Study.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. People think that like, oh, fluent people, or people who have it as their first language have it easy because you don't have to study. No, that's complete bullshit. Like you have to study just as hard as everybody else if you want to get good at it.
Yeah, because the thing is, you also said you speak 5 languages as well, which is like
what,
fuck me
English-
for one, five
But,
languages.
Yeah, fluent in English, half-assed at another 4.
What are the 4? What are the 4 you speak?
Yeah.
So Japanese, Cantonese,
Yeah.
Mandarin, German.
Oh, German?
German.
I learned German in high school.
Oh,
You
okay.
remember it?
Yeah, but but I haven't spoken it for a long time.
Right, right,
I
right.
went there on exchange, so I got that native exposure.
Right, yeah.
But now I'm just big time out of practice.
Right,
So
right,
if I
right.
start trying to talk, I would need, like, if you dump me at a German village somewhere,
Yeah.
I'd get it back, a month or two maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'd need to go through remembering a lot of vocab, specific bits of grammar, how it works. Interestingly, German grammar is not that different from Japanese grammar.
Yeah,
Would you-
a lot of Eastern European languages actually are kind of similar to that, yeah.
Would you say that after you learned your first language, it was like way easier to learn other languages? Because that's what I've heard.
See, because I've heard that's the thing. Like, I've heard, because my granddad could speak 7 languages fluently.
I think you just learn what system works for you.
Yeah. But like I've also heard that like languages are a lot similar to instruments, where the second one is always the hardest,
that's
and then it gets easier and easier because with every new thing you learn, you use your base knowledge from the previous thing you've learned
I see.
to kind of build upon it. So it's like, oh, this is a completely new language, but I already know a language that has kind of the same base sentence structure or same vocabulary rules as this one.
I have found that to mess me up. Because
really?
now I'm just confused. Now I'm going into, let's say if I'm going from like Japanese to Mandarin.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to do Mandarin grammar, but I'm instinctively picking Japanese words.
Right,
what I'm
right.
Yeah. Nod that head, Ashley. Good man. Ashley knows what's up. I imagine she always nodding the head. I can't see her past the monitor. But hang on. But you watch anime for like 1,000 hours a day. Surely something comes from that.
That's a fallacy, right?
I never ever intended to learn Japanese.
Yeah,
Right?
same
So
here.
when I was like, 17, 18, I thought, oh, it's cringe to want to learn Japanese from anime.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, I know.
honestly.
No, yeah, that's what I thought. And then now I'm like, fuck, I'm such an idiot that I thought it was cringe.
Yeah.
I mean, to
Because
be fair,
it was like looked down upon
Yeah, it was,
in
it was.
the anime community because we had like the whole like weeaboo movement
Because
where
people will then start like trying to talk Japanese to you online, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, what are you doing? This is cringe.
Yeah.
And like, they're not really trying to learn the language. They're just trying to learn a couple of
they
phrases.
just wanted to be like
glorify-
they just wanted to be like their favorite anime characters, and people were just
because let's be real, like the Japanese you hear in anime, like 99% of the time, is not the way Japanese people speak.
That's why you can't learn from it.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think you can learn from it, but you shouldn't completely
But
base
it's
all
a
of your knowledge
It's
off
a
it.
different level. It's
Yeah.
once you've
Yeah.
already got your base.
Yeah,
And you can
I-
talk about slaying dragons and
I would also say that watching anime with subtitles is a wholly different experience from watching anime to learn it, because I've realized this now as I'm trying to learn Japanese, that the subtitles are just distracting. I think it's actually worse to learn Japanese with subtitles on, because you either pay attention to the Japanese or you read the subtitles, and it's really hard to concentrate on doing both. And your mind works differently when it's just trying to hear the language as opposed to just reading the subtitles.
I think actually having the Japanese subtitles on helps more.
Yeah, I would
Because
say
can
so
at
as
least
well.
See the sentence.
What I
and
recommend-
recognize some kanji and stuff.
I reckon you get a sentence, you watch it and you listen, then you stop and you go back and you play it again and you read. And
Yeah,
then
but
you
the
go back
but the
and
average
listen.
anime watcher is not going to do that.
Yeah,
because they
because-
just want to listen to the
But
story.
that's, yeah, exactly. So you got to study.
Yeah,
Right, right.
because the trade-off you have to do if you want to learn Japanese by watching anime is just to not enjoy the anime.
Yes, yes.
which is
Yes,
the unfortunate
yes.
part of it, and it's what I realized
It's
as
like,
well.
do I want to ruin this thing?
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
what
one of the
happens
last
big time.
escapes I have.
So I guess the only like solace to that is just like use an anime that you already know inside and out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then rewatch it again to be like, all right, I already
Yeah.
know the story. I'm just going to use it as like study material.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea. And you can take like foreign movies that have been dubbed as well. That's another
Yeah.
good strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So What anime are you flogs watching?
Well, they know what we're watching.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
What are you watching?
We never got to that.
Yeah.
So,
What's your favorite anime?
hang on. Which one of those sentences am I answering
Okay, what's your
first?
favorite anime?
Bacano.
Nice.
That's a good
High
choice.
five.
That's good. Taste.
That's a really good taste. Why are you on a show called Trash Taste with that
Yeah.
great taste?
I dubbed Bacano. When
Did
I was when I lived in Hong Kong, one of my jobs there was I was a dubber, so we dubbed anime.
Well, you're one of the Hong Kong voices in
So if
Bacano.
you- back, yes. But there was one of the main kids.
What the fuck?
Young handsome guy, Friel or something was his name.
Real. That sounds really
something like
familiar.
that. One of those
Scar?
kids. No, it wasn't Scarboy.
Jacuzzi?
Young, handsome, not Jacuzzi. He was one of the main kids.
Firo.
Yes.
Okay.
Firo. I'm Firo. I'm the old Russian man who was doing all the
No
reincarnation
fucking
stuff.
way.
Really?
Can I have a look at your resume?
Is this on like an IMDb somewhere?
Does someone just did you just give someone that resume? and they just have a
Ladybeard
stroke
is a
like, reading
fucking
this
anime
thing?
dub voice
Ladybeard.
actor.
What the hell haven't you done?
Ladybeard, I was
is so insane, but it sounds like
the
bullshit.
English. We did the English dubs for Animax. So, like,
Right.
say you're in Hong Kong or Singapore or something, you can watch Animax in 3 languages: Japanese,
Yeah.
local language, so like Cantonese in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
or English. So
But
we
that
did the
wouldn't- that-
English dubs for Asia on Animax.
Yeah, so that wouldn't
Wow.
be the English dub that played.
No,
Obviously, yeah, it was
not
just
on the DVD in America. No.
Yeah.
It's amazing going to conventions and talking to American dubbers because they're like, yeah, one episode, we take about 5 weeks to dub it. We were like, we did 6 episodes a day. Get them done. Get them
I mean,
done.
I have seen clips from a lot of the English dubs for the Asian
Animax.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Knock 'em out. We don't have time to mess around.
Yeah.
But so I was Tomozo in Chibi Maruko-chan.
Really?
I was Nezumi Otoko in
Gege no Kitaro?
Gege no
This is
Kitaro.
fucking insane.
I was
This is
Grell
so
in Black
bizarre.
Butler.
You're a Grell in Black Butler?
I'm Grell. I'm bloody Grell.
That's so funny.
What's going on?
If for Chinese listeners in Pleasant Goat and Big Wolf, I was the wolf.
Right.
You did it in
you know that
Chinese.
show?
You did it in Chinese.
No, we dubbed into English, but the original show is
okay.
Chinese.
It's
show.
Chinese
Big
show,
time,
right.
big time in China. Big
Right,
time in
right.
China. We did tons of it. We did Gundam Age. I was the flirty dude in Gundam Age. Can't remember his name. Gundam Sangokuden.
You must have
the
really
little
been
ones.
bashing these out.
Yeah,
You're like,
Jesus
fuck, I don't know
Christ.
what the fuck I did. I just turned up.
You do. You show up. What is it? All right, the thing. Okay. All right. Let's knock him out.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, so you turned. Did you even know who you were playing, what the characters were, or did you just turn up and there was a script there and you just had to read?
Normally, at
the
the start of the series, we'd get to do a little bit of research.
script. Right.
And we get told, okay, here's approximately what happens in the story. Here's approximately who your character is.
Right.
And then we figure out the voice. We sit there with the director and we figure out the voice we're going to do.
No
Okay,
audition
cool.
project. No audition process.
Audition was to get hired by the studio.
Right,
So
right,
you've been
right.
hired and now you are
They just
good
call you
enough
in.
to do it.
Yeah.
But then we did like Inazuma 11, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many characters in that show.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody has like 100 characters. So you you run out of voices, right? The soccer teams, because they rotate through and
Right.
you team every few episodes, your team from 3 episodes ago starts their voices become the new team's voices.
You're
You
like
just don't have
forced. Everyone's forced to be Mel Brooks, basically.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like let's just do
yeah.
100 voices. Let's
Big time.
just pull them out.
Big time. That was a great job, but that was wiped out the financial crisis, you see.
Oh Jesus!
So I had a killer life before then. Stuntman, voice actor, act was dope.
I can't believe you're an anime dub voice.
You know,
Yeah,
they
man,
say
badass.
like the jack of all trades.
So
You're
if you
literally
look
the
up-
embodiment.
Yeah.
You know Omni Productions? The
Oh, they have the funniest Transformers dub. You have
Yes.
to-
Really?
That's what
It's
they're notorious
famous
for.
because this Transformers dub is fucking awful. It is
That's what I'm
so
notorious for.
Is
fucking
this the
bad.
same company that dubbed Dragon Ball Z movies? And like,
I think there is. It might be, but yeah, Omni dubs is like.
Yeah, that was what they were notorious for.
Transform-
them.
Yeah, right.
There's a like Twitter accounts dedicated to just posting clips from it, like, just out of context.
What's happened to the headmasters? Can't they fight without Chrome Dome?
I just showed the boys some of the Transformers dubs,
Yeah.
and
It's hilarious.
That was before my time at the company.
yeah, okay, I was gonna-
Okay.
So
That
did
was
the
before
quality,
my
did,
time.
did the quality actually go up? You know.
Don't know. Depends on what you think.
Okay, listen. When I'm doing voice acting, right, I know when I'm in a project that's garbage, right?
Of course, because you're a voice actor too. Yes.
Yes, I know when I'm in something that I'm like, this is not good on the resume.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You
Right,
can tell.
right.
Okay.
Did you get that feeling when you're doing any of these dubs? Or you're like, this is okay, or this is like, no, I don't think this is good, or you just like, it should work.
Well, you know, it's like maybe sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, I guess the fact
true.
that we just found out that you
Yeah.
used to be an anime dub
Yeah.
voice actor says something, right?
Yeah, but like, look, there's dubbing and there's dubbing. There's kind of stuff that you get sent to do, and it's some, you know, commercial thing, and you know,
Yeah.
the script is written in broken English, and you're just like, no, you just record, okay, and you just do it. And then there's shows like Black Butler, which were actual shows,
Right.
So, you know, so there's dubbing and there's dubbing. Tell me about your voice acting life.
Just started when I was, oh my God, how old was I? 15?
Holy smokes!
From like my room though, like just doing it for fun because I loved it.
Like just doing like fan dubs.
Yeah, just doing like anything. And then
Okay.
went to, started doing that for a while, got better equipment, had zero training for a while, and then managed to get some roles like very luckily. Oh my God, one of the most embarrassing ones is that I voiced like, I couldn't do this now. I think you know what I'm going to say.
know exactly
You're
what
going to fucking love this. So I voiced a Nigerian.
Oh dear, you can't do that.
I can't do that now. So what happened is that again, I was like 17 when I did this. It was like Age of Empires. It's like I'm sure you know that game.
Yeah.
They literally were doing a competition where I was like, you can voice in the game. And I was like,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Wow.
And so they
Big
wanted,
IP, right?
Yeah, so they wanted Nigerian accents. And so I quickly open up Google tab, go to YouTube, Nigerian accent example.
Right.
Listen to some guy who's Nigerian speak, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I can get close to this.
Wow.
Submitted an audition, didn't think anything of it. A year later, they're like, yeah, so we use your lines in the game. And I'm like, can I re-record them? They're like, no, they're in the game. It's out now.
The game came out yesterday.
Amazing.
It's out now. I'm like, what?
That's amazing.
But I didn't like sign any contract or anything, so I don't know if like just.
Did you get
That's
paid for it
cool.
or?
Yeah.
They paid me like $200. I'm like, thanks. Pat me on the back. Like, get him out of here.
Right,
Like,
right,
I was
right.
gonna say that's called getting it done.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
free.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
that's-
Yeah.
But like, it
Jesus.
was like so long in between. You know, when I said, you know, I totally
legal?
I don't. know.
Can they just use your voice without you signing
Hey, it's a
anything?
competition.
I'm
not
pretty
right.
sure when you send in the competition, they they have
The fine
Yeah,
print
yeah.
probably says something, right? Yeah.
you give it
That's
away.
amazing. So you got into League of Legends as a Nigerian.
No, sorry,
Age of Empires.
Sorry. Sorry.
If Riot
IP
Games was
infringement,
doing
sorry.
this.
IP infringement, sorry.
So
Sorry.
my
Sorry.
I mean, Riot Games did redub one
Point.
of
They
their
both
games.
have alliteration in the
Lucian.
title. You
So-
can't blame
so-
me that much.
And it was weird because like I'm voicing some archer in some DLC that like never appears, and my mate is obsessed with Age of Empires.
Right.
And he just messaged me one day. He's like, "I think I found you," and he sends me an unlisted YouTube clip, and it's like. You know, because Age of Empires, when you're moving around the world, it's like a
Right,
dark
right, right.
circle that comes visible. And there's the Nigerian archer walks in, and he's like, hello. And welcome to the village. Like, it's literally like the Ugandan Knuckles meme
Right.
before the meme.
Yeah.
And you know, I've shown clips of it before because I just think it's so fucking embarrassing and stupid.
Oh, that's not PC.
I mean, the thing is, right,
There's
if
no way
I-
you could get away with that today.
Yeah.
you know, as questionable it was, but even in like 2015, there was like still no problem with that.
Right,
Like,
right.
And so that
Internet
there
was a
there
different
never
time.
discourse about that being even problematic. And like now, I would never dream of auditioning for a Nigerian.
I mean, you're also 17.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
time,
like,
right?
a literal fucking child. I
Yeah.
thought I can be a Nigerian archer.
When I
Listen,
first did my like actor registry stuff in Australia, you have to list accents you can do.
Right.
And I went through the ones I
you
thought
just
I could
bullshit. You
reasonably
just
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you want
German,
you know.
French or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it comes over like Korean, just do an impersonation of my taekwondo master, tick. Japanese, just do an impersonation of my friend Yuji, tick.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
these are
Yeah.
languages I would never, ever, ever need to friggin'
Right.
voice.
And then, like, so I was doing that, and then just came into a thing and started doing classes, got workshops, got more experience, did professional work in London for a while. It was pretty, it's pretty chill.
London.
Yeah, London,
So
it's
now,
fun.
are you voice acting here?
I have done some things here. I don't think we talk. The one thing we did, I can't talk about yet. So
Yeah. Connor and I did something recently, but we can't talk about it yet because the game's
I
not
don't
out.
think it's been recently. I remember you guys talking about
ages
this.
ago.
It was ages ago, but it still hasn't been released yet.
yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah,
That
dude.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
I shot a thing in 2016 that came out like a few weeks
You
ago.
just, I mean, what?
Jesus
I mean, I feel like what you do is you just record these things, and then it's a pleasant surprise, like 2-3 years later,
forget
when,
about
when it
it.
comes out.
I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Oh god, I want to redo all my lines. Oh fuck, I sucked.
Let's hope the world hasn't changed around you too much in the time.
Yeah, I hope
You're
not.
not breaking any
Hey
laws
guys,
by accident.
here's my newest Nigerian role. I recorded that 7 years ago.
Hope you like it.
Today on the voice of Ifrika Amateur Radio Network. We're interviewing Nigerian voice actor Connor.
did you have to do like an Afrikaans accent, or did you have to like ever put on an accent for any of the animated voices you had to do
All the time.
all the time?
All the time.
Yeah, because I can't really imagine like an Australian accent.
No.
any of them.
The problem with
Rarely
accents
Aussie.
is that you always think you're better at doing them than you actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even if you're very good, a native will be able to pick it apart. And they'll be like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, because I did a voice for Pop Team Epic, but like the character was
American.
An American. Like it was the mayor of New York, right? In the story.
Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. It was literally the mayor of New York. And I was like, and I said to the director, I was in Japanese, I was like, so do I have to like do it in an American accent? Like, I can do an American accent, but it's not great. Like, I'm just letting you know. And he's like, no, I just fucking say it, eh? I'm like, all right. So I dead
mayor
ass.
of New York,
No,
mate.
So I was like, okay, I need to see like how far the limit is, right? Because
yeah.
usually they don't take the first take, right?
Yeah.
So I can just kind of test the limits to see like how far I can go before I have to eventually redo it again. So my first take was dead ass like, I'm the mayor of New York, and yeah, welcome everybody. And they fucking took it.
Well, because they wouldn't know.
They don't know.
Yeah, because they don't know. They were like, yeah, that sounded really New York. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
no.
When I thought I was better than I was, you know, you always listed all these accents, and I very quickly started dropping to like less and less. Even now, I could definitely do an American speaking role, but I just don't want to because I'm scared of getting rinsed by Americans.
Right, exactly.
So I'll only do it if I'm like, I'm 100% sure I can pull this off.
Yeah, right.
But even then, I'm like, I don't.
I mean, there's a lot of actors out there who are so good at doing an American accent, but for some reason, like when it's the other way around, like
True. Yeah, Americans doing British.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, is that it's when you're in this really contained environment where you get the script before, you can really sit down and nail the accent in these words. You can go with it. You can sit down with a native speaker. You can be like, walk me through exactly how to pronounce this.
Yeah.
Because and then people on the spot are like, do an American accent. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you coach me, I can definitely perform an American accent or probably even like other European accents if you gave me time to do that one line.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I think actors, it comes off like that. I mean, some of them are talented as fuck and just whip it out and just start doing it. But they have like linguist coach.
Yeah, but that's when you have like an
fucking-
accent inside of you, right? That
Yeah,
you can just like it's natural.
It's really difficult
Yeah.
to like actually just on the fly switch to an accent because you're rewriting
And it
your,
sound
like, the
convincing.
whole coding
Yeah.
of the language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a voice actor too?
I am not. I'm the odd one out here. I've not done any voice acting.
Well, that was how I got my start doing
Yeah.
all everything that I did.
Yeah.
You should have a crack. You should do what he did. Then you could be a voice actor too.
You could do it? No. You could do
I'm
it.
not a good voice actor.
I mean, Gon's voice acted in his own things.
Yeah.
Before.
I mean, like the problem with me is that there's no way for me not to sound like me, and also I'm shit at doing accents as well.
That's sometimes good though. Like some people do want like very
want that
distinct
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very distinct voices.
Like I hear like my voice acting, which is like I've done like bare bones voice acting because like I did like do you know what an abridged series is?
I think so.
Yeah. So it's like when you it's like a parody dub kind of
Yeah, that's right.
of an
Yes, I
anime
do.
series, right? And so I did that for fun, and I would like cast all the main roles as like other voice actors. And I would cast myself as just all the filler characters that I couldn't be bothered to look for. And I just sound like myself in every character.
It's either that or generic American accent like 101 that like no one can do.
Right.
From someone
Like
else.
I can reckon, like anytime I used to watch like a Gigak abridged, like I could immediately
Oh,
tell.
yeah,
Oh,
you can
that's
tell
him.
when it's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
It's
Right?
so obvious when it's gone.
But like,
It's
but that
gone.
has a charm to it. I find where it's like you know watching something and then all of a sudden you hear your favorite voice actor, right? Being like, oh shit, there he is.
I'm Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
Are you?
I actually am. Pull my skin off. What are your favorite animes?
Oh my god, here we go. It's the
Jesus.
question.
Yeah, that is the question we get asked all the time.
But-
You know what?
But-
It's the
but
Hong
saying
Kong
your
back in
favourite-
dub. I must admit.
saying your favorite is a little bit 14-year-old. So
Yeah,
can
it
I
is, it
rephrase the question? What are you watching at the moment, Joey?
At the moment, I just caught up on Attack on Titan.
Okay,
very
so
good.
the whole
Very good.
damn thing.
Well, I mean, what it's up to currently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Are
for
you
the
watching Attack
are you
on
watching Attack on
Titan?
Titan?
No, I watched through series 1. I haven't watched it since then.
You're doing yourself
Oh.
a disservice.
Yeah. It
I
gets a
have
lot
been-
better.
It just gets better.
yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah, it just gets better.
Because I started series 2 and there was a lot of talking and not much happening. So I was a bit like, oh, come
Season 2 is like they throw in a lot of politics into the story,
man,
and
that's
it
not like
seems
Game of
boring at first. No, trust me. I think everyone was at that point when
Don't
season
you hate
2
when
came
you're
out.
watching Peppa Pig and they put the fucking politics in there?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
No, but like I think everyone was at that point when season 2 started. They were like, "Oh God, like where's the action? Where's the high octane action?" Everyone
Yeah.
came for season 1. But then after a while, you quickly start to realize, "Oh, this is very important to the story,"
Engaging.
and it just gets you more invested in that world.
It makes the world more and more interesting as you go along. So by the time you get to season 4, it's got the same action-packed kind of roller coaster ride, but then you also
The stakes are so much higher.
yeah, the
now.
stakes are like way higher.
Yeah.
Right. So what season are they up to now?
So
4.
it's currently up to 4.
It feels like a conversation with my dad. I'm like, no, Dad, it's just anime. It's great.
Oi, nah. Oi. Calm down, young Connor. Calm down.
So what is the last anime that you
Connor,
watched?
you know what you need to stop doing, Connor? Stop watching anime and read a good book.
Kids these days, they watch too much anime.
I'm one of now. I do not want for a second want to take away from the seriousness of the health crisis of COVID-19. But one of the advantages of this pandemic has there's been a lot of time at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
To do things such as catch up on anime.
Yes.
So I've been catching up on Agretsuko.
Oh, Gretzko's fantastic.
Yeah. And Kengan Ashura.
I haven't seen King.
You should watch
Ashura.
Baki.
Oh, it's killer.
Have you
Please
seen
watch
Baki?
Please watch
Everyone
Baki.
keeps telling me to watch Baki. I started watching Baki.
You're a
Somehow
martial artist. Like you should love
I,
Baki.
I
Do you watch-
somehow didn't get into it at the start for
Keep
some
going,
reason.
keep
Okay,
going,
keep
keep
going.
going, keep going.
Okay.
I somehow
Here-
didn't
grow on you.
here's
I
a more
think,
here's a more important question. Do you watch JoJo?
I don't.
I would absolutely adore.
You are literally a JoJo's
You are a JoJo character.
Yeah.
Why have I not been put in this anime series yet?
You could have been in the Hong Kong dub for all.
I could have barely sleeping in the Hong Kong dub of JoJo. Nah, I haven't. But I've been. But you are now
Oh,
person
dude.
number X who's told me to watch that.
Oh,
So
dude,
I
you would absolutely love
I mean, if
it.
you go on the
Potentially
internet,
have
you get told to watch.
Yeah.
I potentially have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll genuinely love it, and I think with Baki as well. Like, if you give it a little
Yeah.
bit of a chance,
I
like,
think
it
I
gets
got a
better.
feeling the reason I didn't get into Baki was like the DVD was broken. I got a feeling that's
Well, man, that doesn't-
It's also on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
That's why now this excuse doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah, but I'm watching Kengan Ashura. You watch that? 'Cause
No,
that's
I
a martial
haven't.
arts.
That was,
No,
and
no.
I, this is blasphemy to say. Like, I just thought it was like inferior Baki. Is that like?
Did you watch it? You watched the whole thing?
I watched like 2 episodes and I was like, no.
It's because of the 3D.
I don't know. I was watching it and I was just like, every itch was scratched better by Baki. when I was watching it.
I feel that main character whose name I can't remember, the little weenie dude who's watching.
From Baki.
No, from Kengan Ashura. So you don't know because you haven't seen him.
Yeah,
Do
I
you know
don't
his
know.
name?
Yeah.
Remember?
Whoever he is, I look at him and I'm like, I know this man. Just there are so many Japanese men who are like that, you know?
Oh, really?
Just like this little. I wish I was awesome. Look at these awesome men. I wish I was one. You know, and therefore I think I have a personal.
God, I hate it
connection.
when I'm on the train and someone's just choking. How awesome I am.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we don't. Not gonna lie, we don't. No.
I feel
unfortunately-
that something like that has a certain essence of Japaneseness in it. And there are so many people in this country who have been forced into a profession or a series of activities that they are not into.
Right,
And
right.
they just yearn to be a different person.
Right.
And then they'll be whatever they are the otaku for.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling or anime or idols, whatever it is, it's like they get to totally embrace
Yeah,
that
I agree.
fantasy. So to that end, Kengan Ashura actually, despite the ridiculousness of it, feels quite real to me.
Right.
Okay.
And I think I appreciate it now because I've lived in Japan for a long time.
You're really selling King on Ashura
Well,
right
now
now.
I feel bad for calling it.
You know what? You should. You should, my friend.
I'll give it another shot.
Do it. Give it a shot right now.
Yeah.
What do I have you? So you said you watched Agretsuko. Have you caught up to season 3?
No, not yet. See, I'm getting through them, you see.
Okay. I would be
like
very interested to see what your opinion of season 3
Yeah.
is.
Me? Well, now I
Yeah.
have. Now I
Actually,
need to come back.
yeah.
Now we
You're
gotta
right.
come
Like
back and do another.
I don't want to spoil you, but let's say
The parallels are
parallel.
astonishing.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Hey, what? The parallels between that and Kengan Ashura?
No, the
no,
parallels
no.
between season 3 and you.
Yeah.
All right. I can't.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see.
Well, I'll watch the rest of Agretsuko. You watch Kengan Ashura. We'll come back and do another podcast.
Here's the thing. I've always wanted to. I've just hadn't had the time to like sit down and watch it.
So now it was my understanding that you watched literally every anime.
No, actually.
Okay. Well, in that case, my understanding was incorrect.
Yeah.
So
Where did you get that understanding from?
Where did you
Was
get
it
that
from his
understanding?
name?
Was it from my
The
name?
Anime man.
yeah, and I remember when I first met you, I remember you being like, "Yeah, I
watched
watch
every
every anime." And I
Well,
think-
yeah, that was. Well, that was also during. Wow, way to out me out like that. That was also.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No. But like, I think because when I did meet you, it was like what 2015, 2016, right? Back then, I literally did watch everything. But that's because that was also the time when I also wasn't as busy as I was now.
Okay.
Like, I think the one reason I just can't anymore is because I just have so much shit going on.
And I was wondering how you managed to maintain that level of sitting on a couch when you're doing so many things.
Right.
Like, oh, by the way, I watched the video of you guys riding bicycles across Japan.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
It's
God.
very clear to me you don't
God.
spend very much time in the gym.
Oh, God.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was a masterpiece. But no, I was wondering how you managed to keep up that level of consumption when your output was so great. This is...
He doesn't.
I don't.
He doesn't.
Now, this is interesting. I think one of the interesting things about becoming content is the lifestyle that is required to be content is the opposite of the lifestyle required to consume content.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. I'd
And I
agree with
think-
that.
And I think the best metaphor, I guess, for it is to think about professional sports. The lifestyle of the guys on the field is the polar opposite from the lifestyle of the people in the stands. Yeah. People in the stands with their beer and their hot dogs, swearing and screaming.
Yeah.
Guys in the field getting up at 5 a.m. and doing sprints.
Right,
eating
right.
Nothing but salad. I feel that's the same way when you're doing content. Because like you say, what you got into it as a consumer, you then become the content.
Right.
And now you are to be consumed.
And that's the problem, right? And that's, I guess, the dilemma,
my gosh.
right? Well, I mean, exactly. But like, that's also just the dilemma of being an anime content creator, right? It's like, I need to watch anime to create content, but because I'm too busy creating content, I don't have time to watch anime.
Yeah,
paradox.
It's the catch-22.
It's the catch
As
22,
always.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've just been trying so hard to, I guess, like just try and keep up as much as possible, but without having to go down to like a video every 2 months, right? So it's just like,
Call me out like that.
well, no, you're getting way better
I'm
at it
getting
recently.
better,
Yeah,
I'm
you're getting
getting
way
better.
better
I'm
recently,
getting
right? Like
better.
we're all.
you
a bit slow with your uploads.
Yeah, I mean, like my upload schedule is like way longer than either of these two. But I mean, that's because.
But he also like jam packs like a lot more into one video.
I was going to say, your videos are quite long, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're all scripted as well. Where these two just turn on the camera and just start talking.
talking shit.
Have a wing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I helped, I think Joey record one of his videos, and we recorded like a tier list.
Oh, yeah.
And he turned on the camera, we just started talking for an hour and a half, turns it off, and he goes, "All right, done. My work here is done." I'm just like, "What? That was a video?"
So yeah, just send it to my editor now. We good.
Those are the rare instances where you're like, this is just amazing because I got one of my weekly uploads done in an hour.
Yeah.
And it required no planning. But then
Right.
other times it's like I have to set up so many fucking things. To
Yeah,
get this
yeah,
thing
yeah.
Done.
So I got to go to
Juggle
X
so many-
time with X
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
film
Yeah.
this, blah blah
Get
blah.
permission.
Yeah.
It's an absolute nightmare sometimes.
So how did this transition happen from doing anime content into your going out into the world and doing interesting Japan things content?
I think I don't know about you, Joey, but
Yeah.
I never wanted to be stuck in my room doing stuff. But it's like it's the means that you have at that time, right?
Right.
It's like when I was creating content, I always envisioned something bigger that was more involved with me doing stuff. And I mean, moving to Japan and having
Yeah,
the agency help was pretty much the key to allowing me to do that.
I think for me it was more so because I have the problem with my name being the anime man. People just expect me to just be every video I'm in my room talking about anime. So I always had like so many ideas to do other things that no matter how much I thought about it, I was like, there's no way I can twist anime into this. So I might as well just not make it. But then this year, especially, I was like, fuck it. Like if I enjoy it and it just seems interesting enough and I can, have a fun time doing it, then I'm just gonna make it. It's
great.
Yeah.
That drifting video you did was freaking cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
I watched that drifting video. I was
yeah.
like, I want to go drift.
I mean, yeah, it's
You
really
should.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
expensive.
It's really expensive,
It's
yeah.
very expensive.
Like
but,
beyond your Shinkansen, it's expensive. Like the drifting itself.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alexi, who we had on as a guest, he's like a professional drifter.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he said like it's one of the most expensive hobbies out there.
Oh, 'cause
I mean,
you're basically tearing apart a car.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
It's-
need a
it's-
car.
yeah,
It's
you
not,
need
it's
a
not
car.
a go-kart. But like we were able to like rent cars, but most of the time, if you want to drift, you have to buy a car. So they didn't
because they expect you because they expect that car to be just totaled by the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Damn.
So you buy a car and it just sits in that parking lot, and you can use it whenever you want.
And then you
but-
got to replace the tires. Like
Yeah.
every
Of course.
session,
Yeah.
Of course,
you
and
know,
I imagine there's safety standards that have to be maintained like a beast, yeah?
surprisingly.
Not seatbelt regulations and
I
things?
think the safety is like it's up to you. You know how.
Yeah.
that's what it's-
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that I could be completely wrong and say.
Yeah.
I kind of got that vibe.
I mean,
where
I
it's
got
like,
the vibe when you didn't even need a driving license to
Yeah.
be able to
because
go on the drift track.
It's private property, so you can.
Yeah, it's like driving in someone's
Because
backyard,
Grant
right?
doesn't have a license to drive, and Joey doesn't have a license to
I
drive.
do
in
have a
Japan.
license to drive.
You've got a
but not in
license
Japan.
to
Yeah, in
thrill.
Japan,
I do.
Right.
So
I see.
they turned. We booked this thing, and I remember there was a big concern. We were like, "Wait, these two don't have licenses. What are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
And then,
Because we thought we needed like a manual license, and Gun and I don't. We only have an automatic
oh
license.
no, Gon can drive manual, right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just haven't done in years.
I don't have a manual license, so I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm gonna be screwed. And the guy was like, no, you don't need it. Just jump in.
You're fine.
Yeah, just learn.
You're fine.
So I had to learn manual like on the spot.
Very funny.
And it was horrible.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
God. When I learnt manual, it was for a movie I shot in the Philippines.
Right.
And
Okay,
The tangent. Here comes the tangent.
wait, for fuck's sake.
I was
Okay,
shitting
wait.
in front of my South African cut, and
Wait,
I learned how to drive manual.
I briefly lived in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
worked for a movie studio.
Right.
And I was a producer and an actor. And so I was acting in a particular film.
What haven't you done?
I literally asked you like half an hour ago, is there any other like job that you haven't mentioned yet?
When did you go undercover in a gang and bust a drug raid? I'm curious. Can you tell me about that?
Interestingly, that's why I'm on this podcast. To bust the anime man. So listen, anime trade.
Jesus.
So the way I learnt manual was I had to learn it for this movie. And I'm not a stunt driver. I'd never done stunts in cars ever.
okay.
And they're like, yeah, so that's the car. And we'd get this guy who will teach you how to drive a manual. I'd never driven manual. Keep in mind, it's also on the wrong side of the road from Australia. So
Right,
the steering
right.
wheel's on the other side of the car. So I'm there and I spend a few days clickety-clacking, bunny hopping away, learn how to do it. And then in the movie, the scene that I have to shoot with me in the car is like dirt track in this dodgy like countryside Philippines.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like through the middle of like a rice paddy. So it's like there's the road and then like a drop on either side.
Right.
And I have to like come around this corner, speed it up, get up to like 60 or something, going directly at the camera crew.
Right.
And then they're going to pull back on the dolly. At the last second, I have to go boo and like whiz around them.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, you want a non-stunt driver to do that? You really want a non-stunt
Yeah, I was
driver to
gonna
do
say,
that?
Did you
Are
have to
sure?
sign any health and safety stuff or?
Philippines? Nothing happens in Japan, and you think in the Philippines there's going to be a health and safety disclaimer? Bruz, so we go for it, and I'm sitting there before the first take, and I'm like, well,
Rip cameraman.
Vehicular manslaughter. How long is that? in
I'm
prison?
having an adventure, if nothing else.
Yeah, right.
So, but what would happen is this camera crew, as they pulled out on their dolly, one of the guys would jump out onto the road to pull the freaking camera. Didn't tell me he would do that.
Right.
So, okay, your directions there. You speed up, get to 60, then at the last second, just whiz around him.
Right.
So, okay.
No rehearsals?
I'm up 60 at this guy, okay? Getting there, freaking out a little bit. Do my zing to get around him, and then a man jumps in front of the car.
Jesus Christ.
Did you hit him?
Did you kill him?
I think finally I didn't, but then in another take, a homeless man jumped onto the road. Out of the rice paddy onto the road. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god.
You have lived like the experience of like 10 different lives at least. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh my god.
I just want to sit in front of a fire with a cup of tea.
Yeah, I do too. After the
Very interesting.
after
Yeah.
the interesting talks you've told us. Jesus Christ. But I guess to wrap things up,
Yep.
like, where do you want our viewers to go check your stuff
Go
out?
check out Ladybeard on the social medias. Ladybeard, that's one word, _Japan. Ladybeard _Japan on the Twippy Twoppy and the Facey Bookie and the Instagram and the old ticking talking. And don't forget to check out Ladybeard's new group, Baby Beard, coming at you at all those same places. 2021, prepare yourself, world. It's on like Donkey Mother-loving Kong.
I love the G rating self-censoring they use there.
G-rating.
That's the G rating right
Donkey Kong
there.
loves his mama.
So yeah,
I would like to say a huge thank you to you members of the Rubbish Rabble podcast for having me on your establishment
No.
here today.
Thank you for having us on your podcast.
yeah. This might as well have been your podcast.
Come back.
When you see the comparison between your subscribers and mine, you will quickly realize it's your podcast. I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, sincerely. It's wonderful to have this
Yeah.
conversation.
Thank you.
That's been great.
I'd like to thank our behind-the-scenes crew. Let's just have a round of applause for our behind-the-scenes crew. They've done an excellent job. And lastly, I'd like to thank you, the viewers of Trash Taste Podcast. Without
This is
you,
an Oscar
this
speech.
show
What is
can't
this?
We
happen.
don't have to do anything.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything.
Without you, this show isn't possible. So hey,
You got to thank the patrons.
You gotta thank the patrons
you
on
gotta thank the
Patreon.
we got patrons.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
patrons.
Okay,
Thanks.
let's-
I say we like it's my show.
Yeah, thank the patrons.
I'd like to thank our patrons. Their names coming up.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. You got it. There you
That
go.
was cool. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. In the box
Just
below.
shout out the Twitter and subreddit.
What?
We have a Twitter and a
Oh,
subreddit.
a shout out to your Twitter and your subreddit.
Yeah, and we have a Spotify as well.
Spotify.
Yeah, go tell people to go check out Spotify.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Trash Taste Podcast on Spotify.
There you go. You got it.
There we go.
I'm Lady Beard, and I'll see you next time.
He just did our job for us. Like,
I guess that's it. Bye, guys.
all right, bye.